We are going to learn a very important lesson today that will take us on a journey of self-discovery and personal growth. The deep wisdom of the Stoics will guide us as we learn how to earn and keep respect. These philosophers have left us lessons that stand the test of time and show us how to live a life of virtue and honor throughout history. Their thoughts and words have always been true and help us find our way in a world full of problems and difficulties. We will look into the Stoic lessons to find out how they teach respect in this video. We'll look at how these useful lessons can change not only how we see ourselves, but also how we treat other people in our daily lives. We are going to talk about how to boost our self-esteem and earn the respect of those around us. So get ready for a journey of self-discovery and personal growth. Do you want to go on this mental trip with us? After that, let's jump right into the interesting world of Stoic principles and find out how we can use them to become people who are respected and loved. Let's start. To begin, always show virtue. In all parts of our lives, practicing virtue is an important part of Stoic thought that has been around for a long time. Stoics like Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius showed us that virtue is the way to be morally perfect and to be truly happy with your life. Following a set of moral rules isn't the only thing that virtue is. Living by basic principles that support individual and group well-being is also virtue. The idea that virtue is the only real way to be happy and satisfied is at the heart of Stoic ethics. The Stoics believe that virtue is not just a goal that we should strive for, but also a choice to live in a way that is in line with our core values. When we think about it this way, virtue is a group of traits and ways of acting that help us deal with others and ourselves. Wisdom is one of the most important Stoic virtues. Wisdom means being able to see things clearly, making good decisions, and knowing a lot about people and the world around us. When you act with wisdom, you make choices based on reason and thought instead of rash feelings or short-term wants. By developing wisdom, we not only make our own lives better, but we also have a good effect on those around us, earning their respect and admiration for our ability to deal with problems calmly and clearly. Temperance is an additional important Stoic virtue. All things should be done in balance and with self-control. It means staying away from extremes and finding a good mix between what we want and what we do. We can avoid desires and transient joys by exercising temperance in favor of more important, long-term goals. Living in moderation shows that we have strong character and are disciplined, which are traits that people admire and respect. In Stoic thought, justice is another crucial virtue. Justice means being fair and respectful to everyone, no matter how they are different. It means seeing the natural worth in every person and treating them with respect. To be fair, you have to protect other people's rights and freedoms and always do the right thing, even when no one is looking. People who value honesty and fairness in their interactions will respect and trust us if we live in a fair way. Along with these virtues, the Stoics stress how important it is to be brave, generous, and kind in our daily lives. Developing these traits not only makes our own lives better, but it also makes the world a better place, winning us the respect and love of those around us. In short, one of the most important rules of Stoic thought is to always exercise virtue. When we act with virtue, we not only reach moral perfection and real happiness, but we also earn the respect and admiration of people who value honesty, wisdom, and goodness in others. We can change our lives and relationships by resolving to living in line with our core values. This will make the world more fair, kind, and polite for everyone. 2. Grow your wisdom. A lifelong process of self-discovery and personal development, cultivating wisdom helps us deal with the difficulties of life with more clarity and understanding. In Stoic thought, wisdom is very important because it shows people how to live a full and worthwhile life. The first step toward building this priceless virtue that enables us to make wise choices and act with knowledge and insight in all spheres of our lives is to constantly seek out opportunities to learn and grow. For the Stoics, wisdom is more than just knowing facts. It means having a deep understanding of people, the world, and our place in it. To do this, we need to keep our minds open and ready to question our deeply held beliefs and biases in order to get a better, more objective view of the world around us. Mindfulness, or prosh, as the ancient Stoics called it, is one of the most important ways to grow in Stoic wisdom. To be mindful, we need to be in the current moment and notice our feelings and thoughts without judging them. When we become more self-aware, we can notice and question our natural thoughts and emotional responses. This helps us make choices and act with more clarity and rationality. A strong habit for those who want to gain Stoic wisdom is to read and study, along with practicing awareness. The timeless writings of great thinkers like Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius give us access to a huge amount of information and different points of view on life and the world. These books not only give you ideas, but they also show you how to deal with everyday problems in a calm and clear way. When we read Epictetus's works, we find that he dealt with the ups and downs of life in a practical and straightforward way. In order to find real inner freedom, regardless of outward situations, he urges us to develop virtue and self-discipline in his lectures and Enchiridion. Through his lessons, we learn to focus on the things we can change and to calmly accept the things we can't. When it comes to how to live a full and worthwhile life in the middle of trouble and change, Seneca has a lot to say. His letters, Alcilius, and Conversations make us think about how short life is and how to find inner peace by getting to know ourselves and accepting that things change. His works push us to be honest in our lives and to be brave and calm when we face death. Lastly, Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, shows us how to use Stoic ideas in real life. His meditations are a collection of personal thoughts and useful tips on how to always maintain virtue, modesty, and self-control. We learn to be brave and determined when we face problems, to stay true to our values, and to have an accepting and thankful view of life from his works. Another important practice on the way to Stoic wisdom is reflection. We can use the lessons we've learned and figure out the best thing to do in any given scenario by taking time to think about our experiences, ideals, and goals. We can learn more about ourselves and the world around us by reflecting. This gives us a strong base for making smart choices and responding with wisdom and clarity. Along with these personal routines, Stoic wisdom is also grown by interacting with other people. When we have healthy arguments and talks, we are forced to see things from different angles and learn more about the world. Finding smart teachers and guides also lets us learn from the mistakes and insights of people who have been through it before us, which speeds up our own growth and development. To sum up, developing Stoic wisdom is an ongoing process that needs discipline, commitment, and devotion. We gain a better understanding of ourselves and the world around us when we are always looking to learn and grow. This helps us make smart choices and act with knowledge and clarity in all parts of our lives. Stoic wisdom leads us to a life with meaning, purpose, and satisfaction. People who value the search for knowledge and truth will respect and admire us for this. Third, learn to control yourself. Self-discipline is one of the most important things you can do to improve yourself and find happiness. The ability to control our urges and wants and stay focused on our goals and ideals, even when we are tempted or distracted, is an important part of self-discipline. This skill is hard, but it's necessary for success in every area of life, and for feeling like we have control over our lives and the things that happen to us. Setting clear goals that we can reach is one of the best ways to become more self-disciplined. We can focus our energy and attention on achieving clear and attainable goals if we set them. This helps us avoid distractions and stay on track for success. By enjoying our successes along the way and making new goals along the way, we keep ourselves motivated and determined to keep going, even when difficult things come up. Mindfulness exercise is another important way to become more self-disciplined. To be mindful, we need to be in the present moment and notice our thoughts and feelings without judging them. By working on this skill, we can recognize and control the thoughts and feelings that come up, which lets us make choices that are in line with our values and long-term goals. Being mindful also helps us become more self-aware and in charge of our actions, which makes it easier to say no to temptations and keep our eyes on our goals and responsibilities. A key part of becoming self-disciplined is practicing self-control on a regular basis. Self-control is more than just avoiding temptation. It also means being able to control our feelings and actions and making choices consciously instead of acting on impulse. We can strengthen our willpower and ability to resist distractions and temptations that could get in the way of our long-term goals and objectives by practicing self-control in everyday situations. For example, we can resist the urge to eat unhealthy foods or put off doing important things. Self-control isn't just being able to hold back short-term urges. It also means being able to think and act carefully and wisely when you need to make a big choice. We can move our lives in the way we want by taking charge of our actions and feelings instead of letting fleeting urges or outside forces pull us in the wrong direction. Mindfulness, also called mindful awareness, is a good way to learn how to control yourself. Being mindful lets us notice our feelings and thoughts without judging them. This makes our minds clearer and helps us fight against our natural urges and emotional reactions. Mindfulness training helps us make more thoughtful choices instead of immediately responding to what's going on around us. Setting up strong habits and routines can also help us control our impulses and avoid temptations. We can lower our chances of acting on impulse or in a bad way by giving our daily lives order and having clear, attainable goals. Being consistent in what we do helps us build the control we need to stay focused on our long-term goals, even when we are tempted to do something else. Putting ourselves in situations that encourage self-discipline can also help us grow as people. Putting ourselves in situations where people share our values and goals and back our efforts to get better can give us the drive and support we need to stay on track and avoid bad effects that could pull us off course. Finally, keep in mind that becoming more self-disciplined is a constant process that takes time, work, and commitment. It won't always be easy to say no to temptations and stay in charge when things get tough, but with practice and persistence, we can build the character strength and self-discipline we need to reach our goals and live a full, happy life. To sum up, learning self-discipline is important for success and happiness in all areas of life. We can solve problems and live a life of ethics, purpose, and meaning if we learn to control our urges and wants and keep our eyes on our values and goals. We can develop the self-discipline we need to reach our biggest goals and dreams and become the best versions of ourselves if we work at it and are determined. To really practice temperance, we need to do more than just controlling our urges and wants. Finding balance in every part of our lives is part of it. Temperance means being able to keep our feelings, actions, and habits in check in a controlled way, staying away from extremes and always keeping a calm and reasonable stance. People respect this trait because it shows wisdom and self-control. It's also important to have this trait if you want to live a full and happy life in a world where people are always looking for quick satisfaction and too much. The importance of temperance has increased. We are constantly faced with temptations and other things that can throw us off track and make it harder to keep our lives in balance. We can, however, fight these harmful effects and live a more mindful and intentional life by developing temperance. A way to show temperance is to make sure that all parts of our lives are run in a healthy, balanced way. This means eating a healthy, well-balanced diet, working out daily, getting enough sleep, and setting aside time to rest and unwind. Taking care of our body and mind in a proper way keeps us healthy and full of energy, which makes us stronger and more able to handle the difficulties of life. Temperance shows up in more ways than just taking care of our bodies. It shows up in how we deal with our feelings and the relationships we have with other people. In order to do this, we need to be patient and kind with others and not respond too strongly or too quickly when we're feeling upset. We can build stronger, more important connections based on mutual respect and understanding if we stay calm and collected all the time. As a basic virtue, temperance doesn't just apply to our personal or emotional relationships. It also affects the real, everyday parts of our lives, like our funds and way of life. How we handle our money and go about our daily lives also shows how mature and self-disciplined we are. Key parts of financial temperance are living within our means and avoiding over or reckless spending. This means being aware of our wants and needs and making smart financial choices that help us reach our long-term goals. We can avoid getting into debt and overextending ourselves if we buy things and spend money in moderation. This will give us more financial safety and peace of mind. Small changes in our spending can help the earth and society as a whole, as well as our own finances. In order to help protect the environment, we can lower our ecological footprint by consuming less and living more simply and minimally. With less spending, we use fewer natural resources and make less trash, which lessens the damage our actions do to the world. Another thing that can make us happier and more fulfilled is living a simpler, more focused life on our core ideals. Cut down on the stuff we own to free ourselves from the weight of too much and focus on what really counts in life, like relationships that matter, events that make us better people, and personal growth. It aids in the development of healthy, long-lasting habits when we practice temperance in our funds and lifestyle. Being aware of the things we do and the choices we make helps us make choices that are good for us and the world. We can find more happiness and satisfaction in our lives, no matter how much stuff we have, if we focus on avoiding rampant shopping. A calm and peaceful mind can be gained through meditation and awareness, which is another way to practice temperance. These activities help us feel less stressed and anxious and get our minds and emotions clearer. Mindfulness training helps us become more self-aware and in control of our feelings and thoughts. This lets us live our lives with more wisdom and clarity. Temperance is important for a full and healthy life. We can become more mature and self-controlled, as well as live a more aware and free life if we find balance in all parts of our lives. We can avoid temptations and other things that can take our attention away from our goals if we practice temperance. This will help us find more peace and happiness in our lives. The temperance we need to reach our goals and live in line with our core values can be learned through practice and persistence. Morality tells us to be fair in everything we do, including how we treat other people and how we deal with the world around us. Being fair means treating everyone the same and equally, no matter their race, gender, social status, or other factors that make them unique. When we act in a fair and equal way, we not only support peace and social harmony, but we also earn the respect and admiration of those around us. Throughout history, the idea of justice has been at the heart of moral and political thought. Aspirational ideas about treating others equally and fairly have been around for a long time. They have been the source of social movements, revolutions, and big changes in the way society is structured and works. In our own lives, doing what's right doesn't just mean following a set of rules. It means being deeply committed to our core ideals and beliefs. It means making moral choices based on good information and our own sense of what is right and fair, even when we are faced with tough moral challenges or outside pressures. There are times when doing what's right means making tough or unpopular choices that are for the general good and are fair, even if they don't help us directly. For the sake of a more fair and just result for everyone, this could mean giving up some rights or personal benefits. In this case, it might mean speaking out for the rights of the weak instead of staying quiet to protect our own interests. We show that we care about fairness and earn the respect and trust of those around us by being honest and consistent in everything we do. To build strong, long-lasting relationships based on trust and respect, we must be consistent in what we say and what we do. People see that we stick to our values even when things get tough, which makes our image as fair and trustworthy people stronger. Being fair also makes us aware of our own bias and advantage and encourages us to do something about them. To do this, we need to learn about the problems and situations of people who are different from us and fight for fairness and equality in all areas of life. We can make sure that our actions really reflect our values of fairness and justice if we are aware of and work on our own biases. To do justice, you may also need to push for changes in the system that make society more fair and equal as a whole. Supporting laws and programs that fight discrimination and unfairness, as well as human rights action and lobbying, are some ways to do this. We show our dedication to the concepts of justice and unity by working to make the world a more just and equal place for everyone. Fairness and equality are also important in our ties with other people. No matter how different they are, we treat everyone with respect and honor. This creates a setting where everyone feels respected and loved. This makes social ties stronger and encourages people and groups from different backgrounds to work together. Fairness is also very important in the business and law worlds. Fairness and equality at work make sure that everyone has the same chances and is treated with respect and honor. This makes the workplace open and honest so that everyone can do their best and reach their full potential. Justice is the main idea behind the legal system. It makes sure that everyone's rights are protected and that the law is applied fairly. To keep society stable and orderly, everyone must be treated equally by the law and have the right to a fair hearing. To do justice, we must also be aware of our own biases and advantages and take steps to fight them. To do this, we might need to learn about the problems and experiences of people who are different from us and fight for fairness and equality in all areas of life. We can help make the world a more fair and just place for everyone by noticing and speaking out against unfairness whenever we see it. Being fair in everything we do is important if we want to earn the respect and love of others and keep the peace in society. Fairness and equality are important in every part of our lives, from our personal relationships to our jobs and the law. We can help make the world a more fair and caring place for everyone by being fair ourselves and speaking out for equality and justice. Accepting what we can't change is one of the most important lessons we can learn in life. It helps us build a mindset of surrendering to things we can't change. This practice doesn't mean giving up and accepting problems as they come. Instead, it means seeing things as they really are and finding the peace and calm inside to keep going even when things get hard. Life is full of things we can't change, like getting sick, losing someone close to us, or things changing without warning. Acceptance is a practice that tells us to stop fighting against things that are irreversible and learn how to live with them in a healthy and peaceful way. This doesn't mean we should give up or do nothing. Instead, it means we should take an attitude of active acceptance that lets us change and move forward in a healthy way. Being emotionally mature and strong means being able to accept things we can't change. In a world where things are always changing and there is a lot of uncertainty, this skill is very useful because it helps us handle life's rough patches with grace and strength. We can take a big load off our backs when we learn to accept things we can't change. The feelings that can bring us down, like anger, bitterness and sorrow, lose their power over us. They take the place of the peace and quiet we long for inside. We can reach a state of acceptance and peace that feeds our souls and builds our inner strength when we let go of the weight of the past and the desire to change things that can't be changed. You don't have to give up on something to accept it. Instead, it means consciously giving up control and accepting things as they are. We can run with the flow of life instead of fighting it when we stop fighting things that are coming our way. When we are open and willing to listen, we can find new options and different ways that we might not have thought of before. When bad things happen, acceptance gives us the strength and drive to face them head-on. We don't give up when things get hard. Instead, we find the strength to keep going, even when the way ahead looks dark. To go on, being honest means being able to look at our reasons for doing things and make sure they are in line with our core values. This means being honest with ourselves about our hopes, fears, and beliefs, and being able to tell when our actions are not in line with our core values. When we practice integrity, we are forced to be honest with ourselves and live in line with our own truth, even if it is hard or makes us feel bad. When we talk to other people, having integrity also means being open and honest, and we should avoid lying or manipulating them in our relationships. Our friends, family, and co-workers know they can always count on us to be honest and real, which helps us build relationships based on trust and mutual respect. It is very important to know our own flaws and weaknesses in order to act with ethics. This means being aware of the things we could do better and being ready to talk about them honestly and without holding back. When we act with ethics, we have to be humble and admit that we are all flawed and can always grow and get better as people. Being honest also means having a lot of self-control and personal discipline. It tells us to fight the urge to do something dishonest or wrong, even if it seems easy or will help us in the short term. Integrity means staying true to our beliefs and values, even when there are outside forces or tempting things that we can't resist. We can become more honest and respectful people if we keep working on our ethics. We feel better about ourselves and have more confidence when we know that what we're doing is in line with our core morals and beliefs. It helps us build strong, long-lasting relationships based on trust and mutual respect, because our friends, family, and co-workers know they can always count on us to be real and honest. To sum up, honesty is an important trait to have if you want to earn and keep other people's respect. We build strong, long-lasting relationships based on trust and mutual respect when we live by our beliefs and values and show that what we say and what we do are always the same. To develop character, you need to know yourself, be able to control yourself, and really want to live an honest life. However, living with ethics has huge benefits that help us live a life with meaning, purpose, and satisfaction. Develop your understanding. We all have a deep-seated ability to understand and care about other people's thoughts and situations. It means being able to see things from someone else's point of view, feel what they feel, and see the world through their eyes. Being empathetic means not only being aware of how other people feel, but also reacting to them with understanding, kindness, and support. Empathy is more important than ever in a world that is becoming more and more ethnic and different. It helps us get past prejudice and discrimination and build bridges of respect and understanding between people from different backgrounds and points of view. Empathy helps us see that we are all human and that differences are what make us unique and help us grow. Active listening is one of the most important skills we can use to show understanding and build stronger relationships with other people. Being present means more than just hearing what someone says. It also means entering their inner world, knowing how they feel, and reacting in a real and understanding way. People who carefully listen pay attention to more than just the words that are spoken. They also pay attention to body language and other signs that can say just as much or even more than words. We look at their body language, facial movements, and tone of voice to get a sense of how they are really feeling. For instance, a smile can hide sadness or anxiety, while a slouched position can show that someone is uncomfortable or feels unsafe. When we pay attention to these unconscious cues, we can better understand how the other person is feeling and react with more empathy and kindness. When we listen with empathy, we try to see things from the other person's point of view and acknowledge their feelings and experiences, even if we don't agree with them. To do this, we have to stop judging others and be open to and accepting of situations and points of view that are different from our own. We make the person feel safe and supported, and they know they are heard and respected. Paraphrased repeat is a good way to practice active listening because it lets us say what the other person said in our own words to show that we understand and agree with them. We could say something like, "I understand that you are upset about what's happening at work," or "It sounds like you are having a tough time in your relationship." Another way to help is to ask open-ended questions that let the person talk more about their feelings and thoughts. This lets them talk more about what they're going through and makes them feel more understood and encouraged. Being genuinely interested in other people's lives and situations is another way to show understanding. To do this, you should ask open-ended questions and encourage discussion so that people feel free to share their ideas, feelings, and experiences. We show that we value other people's opinions and care about their mental health by being interested in and caring about them. Being aware of our own advantages and biases and being ready to question our own views and ideas is also a part of empathy. To do this, you need to be self-aware and humble, and you also need to be willing to keep learning and growing. We can work to get rid of our biases and advantages and have more fair, equal, and respectful relationships with other people if we are aware of them. When we try to understand how other people feel or what they are going through, we are more likely to fully understand and care about them. In order to do this, we might need to remember similar events from the past or just use our imaginations to understand how other people feel and what they've been through. By doing this, we can learn to understand and care more about their wants and feelings. Being sensitive also means understanding how other people feel. This could mean giving them words of support, comfort, or help with things they need. When we show kindness and understanding to others when they are in need, we show that we care about their well-being and understand how they feel. Empathy is a life-changing skill that makes our own lives better in many ways and makes the lives of others better as well. By developing empathy, we not only show others that we care about and understand them, but we also gain access to a richer and more satisfying inner world for ourselves. One of the most clear ways that empathy makes our lives better is by making our relationships better. When we understand and care about other people's thoughts and feelings, we can build stronger relationships based on trust, respect, and shared understanding. When we have empathy, we can put ourselves in other people's shoes, see the world through their eyes, and react in a kind and understanding way. This makes our emotional connections stronger and our relationships more peaceful. Also, learning empathy helps us learn more about ourselves and become more self-aware. When we pay attention to other people's wants and feelings, we become more aware of our own feelings and thoughts. In this way, we can better study and understand our own feelings and the effects our actions have on other people. By looking into ourselves and thinking about what we believe, we can get a better sense of our strengths, flaws, and core values. This helps us grow and change as people. In addition, practicing empathy helps people feel like they are part of a bigger group. When we see and value the humanity in others, we feel more linked to and in tune with the world around us. This makes us care about other people and feel like we're a part of something bigger than ourselves. Compassionate and loving actions help other people be happy and healthy, which in turn gives us a deep sense of joy and meaning in our lives. To sum up, empathy is a necessary trait that helps us understand and care about other people's feelings and situations. To show empathy, we need to actively listen, be genuinely interested, be aware of our own biases and advantages, and react with kindness to the feelings of others. By doing this, we can make our interactions stronger and more important, help each other understand and respect each other, and help make the world a better place for everyone. Get better at forgiving. One of the most noble and freeing things we can do with our lives is learn to forgive. Learning to accept not only helps other people, but it also frees us from anger and sadness, which lets us move on to a better, more peaceful future. Being able to forgive shows that you are kind and understanding, as well as emotionally mature and strong. People who value being able to let go of the past and move on with kindness and acceptance look up to and respect those who can forgive. Forgiving someone doesn't mean you agree with or excuse their bad behavior, and it doesn't mean you forget what happened. When we choose to let go of the anger and hatred we have been carrying against someone who has hurt us, we are actually forgiving them. Freeing ourselves from the pain of the past and letting ourselves heal and grow is what it means. Forgiving someone can completely change our lives. It can free us from the weight of the past and give us a chance to have a more happy future. One of the main reasons why forgiveness is so strong is that it frees us from the never-ending circle of anger, which can drain our energy and have a big effect on our mental and emotional health. We keep the hurt living inside us when we hold a grudge against someone. Every angry thought and bad feeling we have toward the person who hurt us is like a weight that holds us back in the past and stops us from changing and going on. This circle of pain and suffering can be too much to handle and have an effect on every part of our lives, from our relationships to our physical and mental health. Resentment is like a poison that eats away at our mind and heart, affecting every part of our lives. It destroys our inner peace and robs us of the joy and happiness we so desperately want. It also keeps us stuck in a cycle of pain and suffering that never seems to end, making us feel trapped and hopeless. We can stop this harmful loop and free ourselves from the weight of the past, though, if we forgive. When we let go of anger and pain, we make room for healing and going on with our lives. When we forgive someone, we let go of the mental weight we've been carrying and can start over with a lighter heart and a better mind. It's important to remember that when we forgive someone, we're not ignoring their bad actions or forgetting what happened. We'd rather let go of the past and move on to a future full of love and respect. It means we understand our own humanity and the humanity of others. It also means we choose to go beyond pain and suffering to find the peace and quiet we so desperately want. Forgiving others and yourself is an act of self-love and kindness. You can let go of the past and look forward to a better, more exciting future. We give ourselves a gift by giving ourselves this chance to heal and grow in every way. When we let go of our anger and rage, we make room for a better, more worthwhile life where love and kindness rule. We can free the other person from any blame or duty we have been putting on them when we forgive them. We take responsibility for our own mental health and gain the power to take charge of our lives when we stop blaming others for our pain. Being free from guilt and taking responsibility is possible because of this. Emancipation. Forgiving others also gives us the chance to learn to care about and understand them. Realizing that everyone is human and makes mistakes helps us feel sorry for the other person instead of angry at them. In this way, we can let go of criticism and judgment and approach others with an open heart. It is important to understand that repentance is a process, not a one-time thing, if you want to do it well. It's not always easy to forget, especially after being hurt very badly, but we should be kind and patient with ourselves. During this process, forgiving someone doesn't mean forgetting what happened or downplaying our pain. It means deciding to let go of the past and move on to a future full of love and understanding. Aside from writing a letter of forgiveness, there are other things you can do to help the process along and make it more meaningful, giving you more emotional depth and clarity. These extra activities not only help us deal with our feelings, but they also help us become more self-aware and take better care of ourselves, which helps us heal and grow in all areas. You can really benefit from love-kindness meditation, which is also called metta. In this practice, you focus on loving, kind, and compassionate thoughts and feelings toward yourself, others, even the person who hurt you. It is important to send hopes for health and happiness to everyone during meditation, even those we have problems with. This helps us let go of any anger or sadness we may be feeling and grow a heart that is more caring and open. Introspection and thought are also good things to do. Taking the time to think about our feelings and experiences helps us understand how we reacted and what we were thinking when we had to forgive someone. We can think about what hurt us and what we need to do to get better and move on. Thinking about ourselves helps us understand and make sense of our experiences, which in turn helps us feel more at peace and accepting of them. Making art and being artistic can also help us deal with our feelings and let go of the pain we've been hanging on to. We can share our feelings in a healthy and useful way through art, whether it's writing, drawing, music, or something else. This lets us talk about our thoughts and feelings in a way that can be helpful and beneficial. Connecting with nature and doing things outside can also help you feel better and start over while you're forgiving someone. You can find peace and quiet in nature, even when you're going through a rough patch emotionally. The outdoor world can help us feel calm and connected to something bigger than ourselves. It doesn't matter if we're walking in the woods, looking at the ocean, or just enjoying the sun in a park. To sum up, learning to forgive is an act of kindness and understanding that frees us from holding on to anger and hate. Being able to forgive lets us let go of the past and welcome the chance of a peaceful and happy future. People who value being able to let go of the past and move on with kindness and acceptance look up to and respect those who can forgive. In this loud and crazy world, have you ever thought about how powerful silence can be? Have you ever thought about what it would mean to know when to hold back your words when the outside world is so loud? It's not enough to just not say anything. We need to turn silence into a strong tool that gives us the strength to deal with the problems and issues that come up in daily life. But there is a kind of silence that is good for our heart and mind. Here are 10 times when Stoic philosophy tells us to use silence as our best friend to get the life we deserve and deal with problems. Together, we will learn how to use silence as a source of strength and mental clarity so that we can navigate life's most challenging situations and our relationships with others with confidence and wisdom. 1. The sound of silence is very powerful. According to Stoicism, silence is more than just not speaking. It is a strong sign of a mind that is calm and in control. In this light, silence is an important way to keep our mental independence and build our sense of honor. When Stoics talk about silence, they mean the practice of not saying things that are hurtful or needless. Choosing silence is an act of wisdom and self-control that enables us to develop tranquility and connect more effectively and deeply with others, in the words of the Stoic philosopher Epictetus. It keeps us from getting into pointless fights that happen when people don't understand each other or have the right knowledge. In a world full of outside stresses and stimuli, silence helps us find inner peace, in addition to keeping us from having dangerous talks. Distancing ourselves from the feelings and thoughts that bother us gives us a chance to think and see things more clearly. It helps us separate ourselves from natural and emotional responses, which gives us more control over how we feel. Stoics like to pick and choose when to speak and when to keep quiet. This is because they believe they can control how they feel inside when things happen outside of them. It lets us watch our thinking without being distracted by anything else. Stoics try to understand their own values, reasons and actions better through silence, so they can change them as needed to live a more moral and worthwhile life. Also, when our feelings get in the way of making good decisions, controlling what we say gives us a break to clear our minds and look at all of our choices more clearly. 2. Putting up with insults by being quiet. In Stoic thought, being quiet in answer to insults is seen as a strong way to show strength. It's not an inactive reaction. It's an active way to fight the urge to react without thinking, so you don't give power to other people's hurtful words. When we choose silence, we don't add to the negative loop that insults want to start. By not reacting in kind, we show that we are very strong and self-controlled, and that our mental stability and sense of worth are much higher than those who try to put us down through words. The person who is trying to mentally destabilize us can't do that because we don't care about these bad behaviors. We weaken the attacker's power by not reacting to insults. The aggressor often loses interest in continuing his behavior when he sees that we don't give in to his game. When people want to disrespect us, silence is a strong defense that keeps things from getting worse. It also gives us a chance to think about why people insult us without getting angry or resentful. By staying calm, we give ourselves a chance to figure out if the feedback is true and use that knowledge to improve ourselves. When attacks aren't true, silence helps us feel better about our own worth by telling us that what other people think doesn't determine our worth. Being quiet when someone insults you is also a humble and kind thing to do, because getting angry will only make things worse for everyone. By not giving in to the easy answer, we not only show that we have strong character, but we also understand the struggles that everyone is going through. Stoic ideas tell us to control our instincts and become more logical and peaceful, so this is in line with how we should live. We are constantly building our ability to control ourselves when we stay quiet instead of responding right away. We not only keep our own peace, but we also make the world a better place. This shows that the things we don't say often have the most power. 3. Silence can help you control your anger. Stoic philosophy is based on the idea that we can control our anger through silence. This way of thinking helps us turn negative feelings into chances to grow and think. Instead of getting angry when bad things happen in our daily lives, silence gives us a chance to think about what happened and how we can deal with our feelings in a healthier way. This break without words is not just the lack of words. It is a deliberate pattern that helps us stop, take a deep breath, and clear our minds. We can choose an answer that is in line with our core values when we choose silence in situations that used to make us feel stressed. We give ourselves time and space to think more clearly about what's going on and decide on a more thoughtful, less rash course of action. This exercise also helps us think about ourselves by letting us look into the hidden causes of our anger. When we wait to react, we give ourselves time to think about things like, is this a reasonable response, or is it just the result of my unmet expectations? When we ask these kinds of questions, we learn more about ourselves and the real-life events that made us angry in the first place. Self-reflection can help us better control our emotions because it teaches us how to recognize and deal with things that make us angry. In turn, silence teaches us to be more patient and forgiving by letting us know that we can only control how we react to other people. Practicing silence in times of disagreement can also change our personal and work relationships by making them more respectful and understanding. We work to make our relationships with others more peaceful. Another great thing about this thoughtful silence is that by seeing how we act in this way, other people may be motivated to act in similar ways in their own lives, making the world a calmer and better place to be. So, we can see that silence has effects that go far beyond us. It helps those around us and encourages a society of understanding and sensitivity. In the face of criticism, choose silence. When someone criticizes you, keeping quiet is a strong way to show that you have self-control and mental growth, which are important ideals in Stoic thought. When people criticize us without a good reason or with bad intentions, we should choose not to react. Not only does this protect our honor, but it also brings us more peace and quiet. It's a test of our power and wisdom that shows we know what's important, being at peace with ourselves and staying true to our ideals. When people say mean things about us that aren't true, our first instinct might be to defend our point of view. It is possible to choose silence, though, which helps people understand and respect each other. When we don't reply, it doesn't mean we accept or give up on ourselves. It means we choose not to add to a conversation that might end up being pointless or even harmful. This choice gives us and the person who tried to hurt our feelings a chance to think about what they said and how it might have affected others. Let's say you are in a business meeting and you need to talk about a project that is very important to you. When you discuss a new idea with your co-workers, some of them start to criticize it in a rude and false way, instead of recognizing and praising it. What do you think would be your first reaction? Yes, you would probably feel the need to defend yourself and say no again. But what if you follow Stoic ideas and take a moment to think about how to handle the situation in a smarter way? If you don't add to the argument and let things calm down, you make it possible for everyone to have a more useful and cooperative conversation. You also gain the respect and love of others by showing that you can handle feedback calmly. The Stoics teach us not to respond quickly to problems, but to think about them quietly before choosing what to do. This gives you time to think about what the right thing to do would be. In this way, silence shows the virtue of the Stoics, not as a way to avoid problems, but as a way to face them knowingly and effectively. In the face of tough choices, number 5, silence. When you have to make a tough choice, silence is more than just a break. It's a safe place to think deeply. This technique, which comes from Stoicism, helps people make choices based on clear, logical thinking instead of their feelings. By being in this space of silence before making a choice, we can think about what that choice means and get ready for how it will affect us. The process of reflection is a nice balance to the busyness of everyday life. In a world where speed often beats quality, taking a moment to think might not make sense. However, it is during these breaks that we gain real wisdom. Epictetus, a wise philosopher, said, "If you speak, you cannot listen. If you cannot listen, you cannot learn. You need to be quiet to listen and learn. When we are quiet, we can think more deeply about all the factors that affect our choices. This helps us figure out what the long-term effects of our actions will be. It also keeps us from acting quickly when we're under a lot of stress. When we are calm, we can more easily see things from different points of view and consider all the options. This helps us make choices that are fair and in line with our values and long-term goals. Imagine that you and a loved one are in a medical emergency. Suddenly, you have to make a very important choice. Should you do what the doctor says and agree to the surgery right away, or should you wait a little while longer before making such a big choice? Because of the tight deadline and the seriousness of the situation, you choose to use silence as a way to think deeply. To make the smartest choice possible, you try to calm down for a moment from your inner stress. The thought of a doctor you trust comes to you during that moment of silence and thought. So, you decide to call them and ask what they think about what's going on. And finally, when the doctor gives you advice, you feel better about making a choice because of his or her years of experience. This short but important pause shows how silence can be a strong way to stop, think, and look for more wisdom in times of trouble. Sixth, get rid of things that hold you back. As we go through life, especially in our 30s and 60s, we need an important skill. When you have a lot of things to do, it's important to be able to block out distractions. Learning how to find silence in the middle of noise and chaos is important. In history, there are many examples of smart people who used times of stillness and silence to make important decisions and reach their goals. We could look at Mahatma Gandhi as a model. He was known for taking time to reflect and pray. The great Indian leader and fighter knew how important silence was for calming down and thinking things through. Gandhi thought of silence as more than just the lack of noise. It was a state of inner calm and peace that helped him connect with himself and his greater mission. Gandhi got the strength and focus he needed to lead peaceful resistance groups and reach his goals of freedom and justice during his times of silence and thought. So, silence was not only an important part of his spiritual practice, but it was also a strong tool for his action and for being an inspiring leader. Marcus Aurelius, an emperor and philosopher, said, "The wise man finds peace within himself, even amidst the bustle of the outside world." It's when we're alone that we can sort out the truth from the noise. When you don't think about anything, your mind is free to plan and see life as a game. When there is silence, our minds can travel and make links that we might have missed in the noise. Being fully present and focused on the job at hand is part of this deep attention, which makes you more productive and creative. After a careful pause, every word that is said has a lot of weight. When there is silence, it's easier to make a decision and move forward. According to the Stoic philosophy, one way to master oneself is to block out outside distractions and focus on what is inside. A planned break that gives us time to think about what's going on and make a choice. To be patient, you need to learn how to bargain in silence. Silence is a strong tool in talks. Think about the following situation. You think your job isn't worth enough and that you deserve a raise. If you tell your boss about it, he will give you a pay that is much lower than what you earn. What are you going to do now? There is a Stoic teaching that says we should pause and think before we react. This planned break will not only give you time to rearrange your thoughts and come up with a new way to make your case that will make the other side think twice about their offer, but it will also put pressure on the other side, giving them time to think again about their position. We are following the lead of Zeno of Citium, the father of Stoicism, who said that people should listen more and talk less, because real wisdom often comes from thinking about things. When we accept silence during talks, we take charge of the conversation's pace and flow, which gives us a big edge. Another important idea in Stoicism is kindness, which shows up in simple but deep acts of care and selflessness. Marcus Aurelius said that kindness is the best pleasure in life, which shows how important it is for bringing people together. People who work for social justice and the environment do great acts of kindness, but kindness can also be seen in small things like smiling at someone or offering to help them cross the street. By being kind and communicating calmly, we show that we understand how much our words and actions can affect other people. Stoics know that if we speak less, but more thoughtfully and kindly, it can make our lives and the lives of those around us better. With this in mind, Stoicism tells us to be kind in all its forms and help and care for those around us. People are drawn to silence. Picture this. You're at an event in the evening, and the noise of people talking fills the room like bees in a hive. There is a brief moment of calm in the setting, and everyone looks to see who bursts in, not with words or over-the-top movements, but by giving off a calm and peaceful vibe that contrasts with the busy and loud surroundings. This event shows how silence can be captivating, drawing people in without them having to say a word. It's like being in a classroom where the teacher's voice is hard to hear over the steady chatter of students. The setting is full of distractions that make it hard to learn. There is silence in the room when the teacher takes a break, though, and the student's attention is quickly caught back. This short moment of silence is a strong reflection that even when things are going crazy, there is a chance to get back on track and involved. At its core, silence shows the wisdom of Stoicism. Not only is there no sound, but there is also a presence that comes from deep inside. When someone is quiet, they not only listen, but they also understand what isn't said and feel what is being said without words. His silence isn't a sign of being alone, it's a sign that he is deeply involved with his surroundings. He is often the center of attention and the main point of any meeting without speaking. Not only does charisma come from speaking well or making big movements, but it also comes from being strong in a quiet way. Not only does an attractive leader speak, but he also inspires others by doing things that make them feel strong. His words are carefully chosen and have a big effect when he talks. The power of silence can show up in the smallest acts, like a real smile or a thoughtful touch that gets right to the heart. So learn the art of charm in silence, being there and being real talk louder than what you say. Allow your quiet charm to lead and change not only your life, but also the lives of those around you. Keep in mind that the stillness of your being has the power to fascinate, which is very much in line with the ideals of Stoicism, the old skill of listening carefully. There is a lot of noise in the world, and people are fighting to be heard. But in the middle of all the noise, some people choose a different path, one of silence and awareness. This type of person learns how to truly listen when they speak quietly. Their skill goes beyond the words they use. It also includes the feelings and thoughts that go along with them. They can take in all the information they get and see the world from different points of view because they have this skill. Not only are they heard when they finally speak, but they are also felt. Being able to listen carefully is a valuable skill in personal relationships because it helps people connect and understand each other better. This skill is just as useful in the business world. People who are good at it can see things from different points of view, make tough choices, and settle disagreements with the clarity that only comes from listening. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." This quote sums up the power of really listening, accepting the power of silence, letting others speak, and learning from their words in order to gain thoughts and ideas that would have been lost otherwise. Let's learn from these people who are listening quietly, because their silence contains wisdom that speaks for itself. Silence when you choose to be alone. Fear of silence comes from not wanting to be alone and needing approval from others. This makes us constantly look for attention, which weakens our inner power. But when we accept our loneliness, we find a changing gift, the power to see ourselves as they really are. Stoicism teaches us to see silence as a mirror that shows us who we really are and frees us from outside influences. Imagine a teen at school who is constantly trying to fit in with his friends. Following Stoic ideas, he chooses to separate himself from other people's opinions and think about his own worth. He thinks about his growth without comparing himself to other people when he is relaxed. Now, he decides that his safety comes from how he sees things, not from what other people think of them. To use silence when we need it most, Stoicism helps us know how to do it. Seneca, a smart philosopher, taught us that Stoic philosophy tells us to be happy in the here and now so that we won't worry about the future. The student shows this wisdom by choosing to be alone. Being able to be present in silence without wanting approval from others shows that he is strong on the inside, which comes from having faith in himself. In this situation, silence lets us face our real selves without any masks or decorations. It releases us from the need for praise from other people, letting us find power and happiness within ourselves no matter what. So, just like the student, you can go through life calmly, sure that you are ready and that you have unlimited potential inside you. Remember that your success is not based on what other people think or how you look, but on how determined you are and how long you can keep going. Believe in yourself and what you can do, and don't be afraid to go after your dreams with fire and confidence. You are welcome to use the power of silence in your own life. Every stop should be a chance to learn more about what you already know. Always keep in mind that silence is not nothingness, it is possibility. This is where the best relationships and ideas are born. Take it all in as a friend on your quest for truthfulness and happiness. Let's look at 10 Stoic habits that you should do every morning. Have you ever thought about how to stay calm in difficult situations, gain wisdom when things are uncertain, and get stronger when things get tough? You've come to the right place. Listen up. These 10 habits can change your mind, your heart, and your life. They will also help you get closer to the peace, wisdom, and happiness you want. Visualizing the day is the first step. Spend some time visualizing the day you want to have, including any problems you might face and how you will handle them in a cool and collected manner. Accept what you can't control, which is the second rule. Focus on what you can control and accept what you cannot change, according to the Stoic maxim. This will help you keep your cool when bad things happen. Third, be thankful. Take a moment to think about what you're thankful for. Being grateful is a powerful habit that can help you keep a positive attitude. Number 4, work out. Not only is being active good for your health, it can also help you keep your mind clear and calm. Fifth, take some time to meditate. Meditate for a few minutes to clear your mind and become more aware. This will help you calm down and think clearly as you go through the day. Sixth, read something that makes you feel good. Take the time to read something that moves you and makes you better as a person, whether it's a passage from a Stoic book or something else. Seventh, make plans for the day ahead of time. Make a list of the things you need to do and decide which ones are most important. This helps you stay on task and get things done all day. Eighth, be disciplined with yourself. Don't give up on your goals and values, even if it gets hard. Self-control is important for long-term success. 9. Take a moment to breathe. Pay attention to the present moment and take a few deep breaths. This will help you feel less stressed and think more clearly. 10th, think about virtue before you start your day. Think about Stoic values like justice, wisdom, and courage, and how you can use them in your daily life. To fully appreciate the impact of visualizing the day from a Stoic perspective, let's look into each habit in more detail. We need to learn more about this very old practice that has stood the test of time. Visualization isn't just a mental workout. It's a powerful tool that can change how we deal with problems and work toward our goals every day. Imagine having a clear sense of purpose every morning and knowing exactly how you want your day to go. Visualizing your day can help you achieve this. When you take a few minutes in the morning to picture your actions, reactions, and the results you want, you set yourself up for a successful and meaningful day. The Stoics knew this was a good thing to do long before modern psychology could prove it with science. It was not only a way for them to get ready for what was to come, but it was also a way to grow in virtue and wisdom in everything they did. Visualizing the day lets you be your best self, no matter what. As you wake up in the morning, instead of letting the day's momentum carry you along, you take a moment to think about how you want it to go. When you close your eyes, you picture yourself handling every situation with calm and wisdom, facing problems with courage and strength, and making the most of every chance that comes your way. As you focus on this image, your mood will change, your body will relax, and your mind will clear. You now understand that you are not just daydreaming, you are mentally and emotionally getting ready to face the day with all your strength and wisdom. The Stoics knew that how we see things greatly affects what we do and how we react to things. When we think about our day in a good and helpful way, we can change how we see it. This helps us see opportunities instead of problems, growth instead of problems, and virtue instead of laziness. But visualizing the day is more than just making up stories about how we want things to go. Additionally, it entails preparing for potential difficulties and stumbling blocks and visualizing ourselves triumphantly overcoming them. Instead of being afraid of what we don't know, we get ready for it, which makes us stronger and better able to handle whatever comes our way. Now let's say you have an important meeting at work today. Imagine yourself walking into the room calm and sure of yourself, clearly and convincingly stating your ideas and handling any questions or criticisms with professionalism and grace. This will help you stop worrying about what might go wrong. By doing this, you set the intention for how you want to act and boost your confidence in your ability to do so. We can also connect with our deepest values and remember why we do what we do when we picture the day. What do you care about most? What are your biggest hopes and dreams for the future? You can create a sense of purpose and direction for your day by visualizing it in accordance with these values and goals. Visualizing your day, of course, does not ensure that everything will go exactly as you planned. Unexpected things happen all the time in life, so it's important to be ready to deal with them. But if you do it every day, visualizing the day will make your mind and spirit stronger so you can handle any problems that come your way. It will also help you stay true to yourself and your purpose every day. To put it briefly, visualizing the day is much more than just a mental workout. It is a strong way to strengthen our daily lives with wisdom, strength, and virtue. You can set yourself up for a successful and meaningful day full of purpose and direction by taking a few minutes every morning to picture how you want your day to go. Now, let's talk about the second point, which is how to accept things that we can't control from a Stoic point of view. Acceptance of what cannot be controlled is a fundamental Stoic idea that can change how we deal with problems and live our lives. We need to learn more about this ancient teaching that is still very relevant today. Imagine having peace and calm every morning when you wake up, knowing that you are ready for whatever the day brings. The promise of Stoic acceptance is to free yourself from needless suffering by seeing things as they really are and accepting them as they are, not how we wish they were. The Stoics knew that a lot of our pain comes from not wanting to face reality. We become prone to anxiety, frustration, and resentment when we try to stop what is inevitable or hold on to things we can't control. By letting go of our hopes and expectations and accepting things as they are, acceptance frees us from this cycle of pain. But Stoic acceptance is more than just giving up and accepting things as they are. Not just giving up and letting fate take its course, but also figuring out what we can control and putting our attention and energy into that. Let's say you're on your way to work and got stuck in traffic. You remember the Stoic principle of accepting what you cannot control rather than getting angry about the situation or whining about being late. Knowing that you can't change the traffic, you choose to use that time to listen to a fun podcast or just enjoy the peace and quiet of the present. By doing this, you turn an event that could be stressful into a chance to practice acceptance and detachment. Stoic acceptance also helps us find meaning and purpose in difficult times. We don't see problems as impossible to solve. Instead, we see them as chances to learn and grow. We learn to be thankful for what we do have instead of complaining about what we don't have. This helps us find happiness even when things are hard. Imagine losing your job all of a sudden and having a hard time making ends meet. You cling to the Stoic teaching of accepting what you cannot control instead of giving up or feeling sorry for yourself. Your job loss is out of your control, but you promise to focus on what you can change: your attitude, your actions, and your search for new opportunities. If you do that, you will find strength and resilience in hard times and be open to new options you wouldn't have thought of before. Stoic acceptance also teaches us not to let our outside circumstances define us. Instead of basing our sense of self-worth and self-esteem on whether we succeed or fail, we learn that our true identity lies in our ability to face life with courage, wisdom, and respect, no matter what. Imagine going through a big setback in your personal or professional life that makes you question who you are and what you're worth. You stick to the Stoic teaching that your inner worth is separate from your outer achievements. You don't let problems define you. You know that your situation doesn't define you and promise to find your strength and worth in your ability to deal with problems with grace and determination. By doing this, you find a deep sense of freedom and power that goes beyond anything going on around you. In short, Stoicism teaches us to accept what we cannot control. This lesson can change how we deal with problems and live our lives. When we practice acceptance, we free our minds and spirits from suffering that isn't necessary. We can also find peace and calm even when bad things happen. Now, let's talk about the third point, which is about practicing gratitude from a Stoic point of view. We need to learn more about where this teaching comes from philosophically and how it can change the way we see the world and live our lives. An important part of the Stoic way of life is practicing gratitude, which can change the way we see the world and live our lives. By practicing gratitude and appreciation for every moment of life, we free our minds and hearts from discontent and dissatisfaction. We can find peace, serenity, and happiness even when things are hard. Imagine starting each day with a heart full of thanks, aware of all the good things and chances that are all around you. From a Stoic point of view, practicing gratitude will free you from the trap of being unhappy by making you focus on what you have instead of what you don't have. The Stoics knew that being thankful could change things long before modern psychology could back it up with scientific proof. They saw gratitude as a fundamental tool for fostering wisdom, tranquility, and happiness in daily life, not just as a nice virtue. But Stoic gratitude is more than just listing our blessings. Not only should we be thankful for the good things that happen to us, but we should also learn to be thankful even when bad things happen. Having an accepting and grateful attitude toward every moment of life is important because even the hardest problems can teach us important lessons and give us chances to grow. Imagine that you are in the middle of a personal or professional crisis that you think will take over your life. Instead of giving up or feeling sorry for yourself, you remember the Stoic teaching that even when things are bad, you should be thankful. You understand that every problem you face is a chance to learn and grow, and you promise to be thankful even when things are hard. By doing this, you turn hardship into a chance to become stronger, gain more wisdom, and learn more about yourself and the world around you. As a Stoic, I believe that we can find beauty and meaning in the little things in life, in the everyday moments that we miss because we are always looking for more and better. It's about learning to appreciate the beauty of a sunrise, the comfort of a friendly smile, or the serenity of a moment's worth of silence. Take a moment to think about all the good things in your life, like your good health, the love and support of your family and friends, and the beauty of the world around you. That's when you realize that real wealth isn't stuff or success in the outside world, but being able to enjoy and appreciate the little things that give our lives meaning and purpose. To sum up, practicing gratitude from a Stoic point of view can change the way we see the world and live our lives in big ways. By practicing gratitude and appreciation for every moment of life, we free our minds and hearts from discontent and dissatisfaction. We can find peace, serenity, and happiness even when things are hard. Finally, let's talk about the fourth point, which is about exercise from a Stoic point of view. We need to put ourselves in the middle of trouble. Imagine finding out that something unexpected has changed your plans for the day. You remember the Stoic principle of accepting what you cannot control and looking for opportunities in the face of difficulty rather than becoming upset or angry. You promise to change your plans and come up with a creative way to handle the situation. You know that by doing this, you will improve your ability to adapt and do well in any situation. To sum up, planning the day from a Stoic point of view is more than just a way to keep track of time. It's a powerful way to develop virtue, discipline, and resilience in our daily lives. Giving up control of our time and actions means we are also giving up control of our lives and promising to live in line with our deepest values. Before we can talk about the eighth point, which is about how to reflect at the end of the day from a Stoic point of view, we need to look at how this habit can change how we think about and learn from our experiences. Daily reflection at the end of the day is not only a good way to think about yourself, but it's also a powerful way to grow in wisdom, gratitude, and strength. Imagine ending each day with a calm and peaceful mind, ready to think about what happened and learn something useful from it. From a Stoic point of view, this is what reflection at the end of the day promises. Not only will we learn from our mistakes, but we will also gain a better understanding of ourselves and the world around us. Before it became popular in modern times, the Stoics knew how important it was to think about things. It wasn't just a way for them to learn about themselves, it was also a way to be self-disciplined and in control. We grow in virtue and wisdom every day when we take the time to think about what we do and how we make choices. But from a Stoic point of view, reflection at the end of the day is more than just going over what we did. It's not enough to just remember things. We also need to think about them in terms of our values and life goals. Imagine taking the time every night to think about the day that was and how your actions and choices fit with your life's values and goals. By doing this, you not only learn from your mistakes, but you also make it easier for yourself to live by your most important values. To sum up, from a Stoic point of view, thinking about the day's events is more than just going over them again. Using it every day is a powerful way to grow in wisdom, gratitude, and strength. We are strengthening our ability to live in line with our deepest values and find meaning and purpose in our lives by making a promise to take the time to think about and learn from our experiences. To fully understand the ninth point, which is about practicing emotion control from a Stoic point of view, we need to know how this skill can change how we see the world and how we deal with our feelings. Emotional control is more than just ignoring our feelings. It also means getting to know them, understanding them, and keeping them in check. Picture waking up every morning with a calm and peaceful mind, ready to handle the day's ups and downs with determination and calm. This is what Stoic emotion management promises. Not only will it help us get through the rough waters of our emotions, but it will also help us find peace and balance in the middle of them. The Stoics knew that controlling your emotions could change your life long before modern psychology and science proved it. For them, being able to control their emotions required more than just willpower. It also required wisdom and self-discipline. We can grow in virtue and moral excellence every day by learning to recognize, understand, and act on our emotions in a smart way. But from a Stoic point of view, controlling our emotions is more than just ignoring them. Not only do we have to deny or push down our emotions, but we also have to learn how to have a healthy relationship with them, accept that they are a part of being human, and guide our responses with wisdom and balance. Imagine that you are in a situation that makes you angry or frustrated. You don't let your feelings control you and act without thinking. You take time to think about what you are feeling and why. This will not only help you understand and accept your feelings, but it will also help you react to the situation in a smarter and more balanced way. Stoic thinking about how to handle our feelings also teaches us to fully accept ourselves and our feelings, knowing that they are a normal and healthy part of being human. We learn to accept our feelings with compassion and deal with them in a kind and understanding way instead of judging or criticizing ourselves for having them. Imagine that a hard event in your life is making you sad or overwhelmed with grief. You stop fighting your feelings or trying to hide them. Instead, you name them and accept them with kindness. Not only will you feel better about yourself and accept yourself more, but you will also be able to use the energy you used to spend trying to control your feelings to do more helpful and constructive things. Stoic thinking about how to handle our feelings also teaches us how to find deep peace and balance in the midst of trouble and suffering. We don't let our feelings take over or stop us. Instead, we learn to stay true to our deepest morals and virtues, which gives us peace and strength in the midst of the storm. Imagine that you are going through something very painful or stressful in your life. Instead of freaking out or giving up, you take a moment to remember what the Stoics taught us about how life changes quickly and how important it is to stick to our most important values and principles. When something bad happens, you promise to handle it calmly and firmly, because you know that doing so will make you stronger mentally and emotionally. Taking a Stoic view on how to handle your feelings is more than just having strong willpower or self-discipline. By recognizing our emotions as normal and valuable parts of being human, this way of life helps us have a healthy and balanced relationship with them. We can develop virtue and moral excellence in our daily lives by making a promise to learn how to recognize, understand, and act on our emotions in a smart way. To fully understand the 10th and final point, which is about practicing gratitude from a Stoic point of view, we need to learn how this habit can change how we live our lives and help us find meaning and purpose in every moment. Being grateful is more than just having a good mood. It's a way of life that teaches us to value and appreciate the many good things in our lives, even when things are hard. Imagine starting each day with a heart full of thanks for all the good things in your life, like your health, your love, and the beauty of the world. Stoics believe that being grateful will help us not only find happiness and satisfaction in the little things in life, but also grow a deep appreciation for everything we have, even when things are hard. Long before it became popular in modern times, The Stoics knew that being thankful could change your life. Giving thanks wasn't just a matter of being polite, it was also a way for them to encourage moral excellence and virtue in our daily lives. We can make our lives more satisfying and happy by learning to value and appreciate the many good things that happen to us every day. But from a Stoic point of view, being thankful is more than just saying, "Thank you." It's not just about being thankful for the good things that happen to us. It's also about being thankful for the hard things that happen to us. We can become more resilient and emotionally strong by learning to see problems as lessons and chances to grow. Imagine taking a moment to think about all the good things in your life, like the people who matter to you, the experiences that make you grow, and the beautiful and amazing things that happen in the world around you. By doing this, you realize that being thankful isn't just for the good things that happen to us. It's also for the hard things that happen to us. You promise to find lessons and chances to grow even when things are hard, because you know that by doing this, you will make your life stronger and more resilient. From a Stoic point of view, being grateful also helps us learn to accept things as they are, not how we want them to be. We learn to enjoy the present moment instead of wishing for what we don't have or worrying about what might have been. We do this by realizing that every moment of life is a gift that should be treasured and appreciated. Imagine that you are going through a tough or painful time in your life, like losing someone, getting sick, or failing at something. You remember the Stoic teachings about accepting what you cannot control and the significance of finding happiness and satisfaction in the present moment rather than giving in to negativity or self-pity. It is your promise to value and appreciate the many good things in your life. You know that by doing this, you will be creating deep satisfaction and happiness in your life. From a Stoic point of view, being grateful is more than just having a good mood. It's a way of life that teaches us to value and appreciate the many good things in our lives, even when things are bad. By making a promise to be thankful for life and all it has to offer, we are also making a promise to be deeply satisfied and content with our lives, giving every moment meaning and purpose. Finding a moment of peace is like finding a treasure of immeasurable worth. Inner tranquility is not just a state, but a place we long for safety in the deepest parts of our being. As the revered spiritual leader Dalai Lama said, "Calm is not just a desire, but the natural condition of being human." These words remind us that peace is not a luxury, but something we need to have for our mental and emotional health. In line with the ideas of the poet Rumi, peace comes from inside us. How often do we look for peace outside of ourselves without realizing that the real peace is inside of us? We are going on a spiritual journey today to find the mysteries that will lead us to inside peace, which is a treasure that has been hidden. This quote from a wise Chinese philosopher says that peace is the best virtue. If we can't find peace in our minds and hearts, how can we think of ourselves as good? In this interesting section, we'll look at the 20 most powerful spiritual secrets that will help us calm our minds and find inner peace, which is the highest virtue. Let me be your guide on this life-changing journey as we find the secrets that will help us reach a deep state of peace. Find peace within yourself and learn the top 20 Stoic secrets for a calm mind. The first secret is to breathe mindfully from a Stoic point of view. Let's start our quest for inner peace by solving the first puzzle: how to breathe mindfully from a Stoic point of view. In the words of Buddhist teacher and mindfulness advocate Thich Nhat Hanh, "Mindfulness of breathing is my anchor." This statement holds a profound truth. Our breathing, that automatic act that we often neglect, can become the shelter that guides us to serenity. Conscious breathing involves paying full attention to each inhalation and exhalation. In the midst of the daily grind, we allow our mind to wander without restraint. But by focusing on the breath, we create an enclosure where calm can flourish. Close your eyes if possible and perceive the swaying of the air entering and leaving your body. In each breath, we experience the present, the only genuine moment that is given to us. The practice of conscious breathing not only connects us to the now, but also acts as a switch to the fight or flight response of our nervous system. By breathing in deeply and breathing out slowly, we signal the brain that everything is in harmony, deactivating stress and allowing peace to flood the psyche and body. But this enigma goes beyond the occasional practice. Making mindful breathing a daily habit is imperative in times of tension, stress, or even elation. Return to your breath, as the proverb says. When you walk, just walk. Don't do anything when you sit down. But most importantly, don't get stuck in the muck of your thoughts. Mindful breathing helps you maintain your mindset and avoid getting caught up in the turbulence of thought. Secret 2. Daily gratitude. After having anchored our mind in conscious breathing, we move on to the second mystery that leads us to inner peace: daily gratitude. Gratitude is like a ray of sunshine that scatters the clouds of negativity. Cultivating gratitude on a daily basis helps us change our perspective and appreciate the beauty in the small details of life. Respected writer Melody Beattie motivates us by expressing that gratitude unlocks the fullness of life and transforms us like nothing else. Incorporating gratitude into our daily routine is simpler than it sounds. When you wake up in the morning, take a moment to be grateful for the little things: the warmth of the sun, the aroma of tea, or simply the gift of a new day. Gratitude is not always tied to grandiose gestures. It often lies in the simple, everyday. Keeping a gratitude journal is a powerful tool. At the end of each day, write down 3 things you are grateful for. They can be experiences, people, or even lessons learned. This exercise not only helps you recognize the blessings in your life, but also creates a positive habit that transforms your mindset. Gratitude is not exclusive to good times. It can also be a beacon in the midst of difficulties. Facing challenges with gratitude allows us to find lessons in the midst of adversity. As Oprah Winfrey said, "The greatest wisdom is to know that you always have something to be grateful for." The third secret is to connect with nature. Practicing conscious breathing and daily gratitude can help us find the third mystery that will lead us to the inner peace we've been looking for: to connect with nature. The stunning beauty and peaceful rhythm of nature can heal our minds and souls. As Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "Nature always speaks to you. Just learn to listen." As Marcus Aurelius said, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all in the way you think." This connection helps us find peace in simplicity. John Muir, a passionate nature lover, reminded us that in nature, nothing is rushed, but everything gets done. In what ways can we fit this connection into our busy daily lives? Spend as much time as you can in nature, even if it's only for a few minutes a day. A stroll through the park, a moment in your garden, or just staring up at the night sky. There's something about nature that makes us feel like we're part of something bigger than ourselves. Have you ever stopped to listen to the birds singing at dawn or the wind whispering through the leaves? These are small signs that we are a part of something amazing. Being in nature not only calms us down, but it also helps us remember how we are linked to everything else in the world. When you can't be in nature physically, bring nature into your space. A picture of a peaceful landscape, a plant on your desk, or even the sounds of nature can make you feel better. Secret number 4, guided meditation can help you calm down. We can find inner peace in the fourth way by going outside and meditating with a guide. The Stoic philosophers, who knew how to be calm inside, tell us that real peace comes from inside. Eckhart Tolle said, "True happiness is enjoying the present without worrying about the future." To meditate, we don't have to go to a mountain in the middle of nowhere. We can find peace in our minds anywhere. Epictetus taught us that while we have no control over the things that happen around us, we do have control over how we react to them. Guided meditation is a powerful way to focus on the present moment and find peace. Settle down somewhere nice, either lying down or sitting up, and close your eyes. Imagine a peaceful place. It could be a forest, a beach at sunset, or even a cozy corner. Feel the peace of this special place wrap around you. Pay attention to your breath now. Take a deep breath in and let the air fill your lungs. Then, slowly let out your breath, letting go of any stress. Think of each breath in as bright light filling your body with good energy, and each breath out as letting go of your worries. As you get more into this guided meditation, let go of any thoughts that are bothering you. If your mind starts to wander, gently bring it back to your breath and the imaginary place you've made. Meditation doesn't try to clear your mind of all thoughts. Instead, it aims to make you more aware. As Paramahansa Yogananda put it, meditation is the meeting of the mind with divinity. This meeting happens when we let our minds rest and connect with the still, small part of ourselves that lives inside them. Adding guided meditation to your daily life can help you stay calm when things are going crazy. Give this practice your full attention every day for a few minutes. Through guided meditation, we can see that inner peace is always there, just waiting to be found in our own minds. Fifth secret: let go of the past. As the calmness of guided meditation fills our bodies, we move on to the fifth spiritual secret, which is a key to inner peace: letting go of the past. We learn from the Stoic philosophers, who were masters of practical wisdom, that virtue is found in living in harmony with the present. Alan Watts said, "It's not that we don't have enough time, but that we lose too much by letting the past affect our present. If we let it, the past, with its memories and experiences, can become a shadow that blocks our present. Remembering things from the past can keep us from fully enjoying the present. We have to accept that we can't change the past in order to move on with our lives. Yet, we have the power to change how we see things and how we react to them. Think about how those events have changed you and what you have learned from them. One of the most important things you can do to let go of the past is to forgive others and yourself. It's not about making sense of what we did. It's about getting rid of the emotional baggage we carry. Imagine a ritual that helps you let go. Write down your problems from the past on a piece of paper, then burn it and let the ashes spread. This action is a metaphor for letting go and being free from the ties that hold you back from the past. Freeing ourselves from the past lets us live fully in the present, which in turn lets us build our future. Secret number 6: learn to be kind. Now that the past is behind us, we can move on to the sixth secret that will help us find inner peace. Learn to care about others and yourself. We learn from the Stoic philosophers that compassion leads to virtue and connects people. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best way to get back at someone is to be different, to show that they have made you better, not more bitter." Showing compassion is not only a kind thing to do, but it also changes people, which is good for both the sender and the receiver. Start by being kind to yourself. Being human means that we will make mistakes from time to time. It's okay to do this. Self-compassion doesn't mean ignoring your mistakes, as Karen Neuberger put it, but it does mean dealing with them with kindness instead of anger. Show this kind of compassion to other people as well. The Stoics told us that everyone has their own problems and pain that they experience. To be compassionate, you have to look past people's actions and connect with the humanity we all share. The practice of loving kindness meditation is a powerful way to grow compassion. Picture yourself being more kind to yourself first, then to family, friends, acquaintances, strangers, and finally, to people you may disagree with. This practice changes not only how you relate to other people, but also how you relate to yourself. Kindness is what connects you to the people and things around you in a deeper and more meaningful way. Albert Schweitzer said, "Compassion, like love, is a creative endeavor and not an act of condescension." When we practice compassion, we help make the world a better place for everyone. The seventh secret is to live with purpose. Immersing yourself in Stoic thought is like opening a door to a more aware way of living. The Stoics, who stress self-discipline and mental clarity, remind us that our lives are made up of the choices we make. Epictetus, one of the most important representatives of this school of thought, says that what affects us is not what is happening around us, but how we see it. When we live with intention, we control our thoughts and actions so they are in line with what we really value. It's the process of figuring out what our life's priorities are and what we want to achieve. Setting meaningful goals not only gives you a sense of purpose, but it also calms you down. The Stoics said that our short lives are caused by how much we waste them. Realizing how short our lives are makes us want to live each moment with meaning and fulfillment. Living with intention isn't just about reaching goals outside of ourselves. It's also about how we choose to deal with the ups and downs of life. A key part of living with intention is developing a positive, proactive mindset. Marcus Aurelius said, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It all lies in the way you think." When we adopt this mindset, we accept responsibility for how we react to the ups and downs of life. Being mindful turns out to be a very useful skill on this path to living a more purposeful life. By being aware of our feelings and thoughts without judging them, we give ourselves the power to respond mindfully instead of impulsively. This lets us make choices that are in line with our deepest values. It's important to remember that living with intention doesn't mean being too rigid or giving up the ability to be spontaneous. It's more about living in balance with what's important to us. Following the Stoic advice to live in harmony with nature, every choice we make brings us one step closer to inner peace and a life that is real and has meaning. Secret number 8. Be kind to others. If we want to find inner peace, generosity is like a bright light that shows us the way. The Stoics, who believed in virtue and human connection, teach us that being kind to others is a real way to show that we love and understand them. There is no true satisfaction in the possession of goods unless generosity is used, as Seneca said. This means that it lies in sharing what we have and using it in a good way. In a world where everyone is different and competition is common, being generous stands out as a powerful way to fight selfishness and loneliness. Sharing our time, money, and resources with others gives us a sense of connection and fulfillment that goes beyond our own limitations. Giving to others not only makes their lives better, but it also makes our own lives better by giving us a new sense of purpose and meaning. In the end, being generous is in line with the Stoic vision of a community where everyone's well-being affects everyone else's. Generosity is a virtue that opens hearts and makes bonds stronger between people. It can be shown in many ways, from small acts to big ones. There's no need for something expensive. A genuine smile, a kind word, or even just giving someone your time can make a big difference in their life. Marcus Aurelius famously said, "Kindness is irresistible, and that small act of generosity can change everything." But being generous isn't just about how we treat other people. It also means being kind to ourselves. It is very important to allow ourselves to care for our own emotional health, rest when we need to, and take care of ourselves. The Stoics taught us that being kind to yourself is an important part of being kind to other people. When we have an abundance mindset, we can see that being generous doesn't always mean having too much. It often means sharing what we have, no matter how little or how much. Only the fool, through ignorance, denies himself what he has, as Epictetus said, reminding us that generosity comes from wisdom and gratitude for what we have. Giving to others frees us from our need to collect things, which makes room for the happiness and satisfaction that come from helping others. Mahatma Gandhi once said, "The best way to find oneself is to lose oneself in the service of others." Being generous guides our actions and brings us closer to the world around us. Secret number 9. Build relationships that matter. One of the most important things we can do to find inner peace is to build relationships that matter. The connections we make with other people are what give life its true value, according to the Stoic philosophers, who were experts in the wisdom of human relationships. A loyal friend multiplies joys and divides sorrows, Seneca said, which shows how important it is to keep the relationships that help us through good times and bad. It's important to spend time with the people we care about, but the quality of those relationships is more important than the amount of time spent together. Sharing special moments, showing empathy, and saying thank you all make the connections between us stronger. The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts, as Marcus Aurelius said. This shows how important meaningful relationships are for our mental health and peace of mind. To build strong relationships, it's important to encourage open and honest communication. Being honest builds trust and clears up misunderstandings. By being understanding and patient with each other, we can make the world a more peaceful place. Epictetus said, "Listen, and you will be wise." The start of wisdom is silence, which reminds us how important it is to actively listen and see each person in our lives as unique. Marcus Aurelius uses a powerful metaphor when he says, "We are made to work together, as the feet, the hands, the eyelids, the upper and lower rows work together." It's easier to have healthy relationships with others when you accept them for who they are without trying to change them. In the end, building meaningful relationships gives us a sense of connection and belonging that feeds our souls and makes life more interesting. Let's not forget how important it is to forgive in the complicated web of human relationships. Problems and tensions will always be there, but Seneca taught us that forgiveness is a light that frees the soul and leads to inner peace. As sailors on a rough sea, we need to remember that a ship that doesn't know where it's going can't find a fair wind. For this reason, absolving is like steering our ship toward peace and harmony. Rather than building walls that separate us, let's work on making bridges that connect us. Meaningful relationships give us peace of mind and happiness that make our inner lives better, even if they require work and sacrifice at times. Let's keep digging into these mysteries and let the ancient Stoic teachings lead us to relationships with more depth and meaning, where forgiveness and kindness are central to our personal growth. The 10th secret is to find meaning in the things you do every day. We learn the 10th spiritual secret on our way to inner peace. Find meaning in the things you do every day. As great examples of virtue and wisdom, the Stoics remind us that finding meaning in our lives doesn't just mean doing big things. It also means paying attention to the little things that happen every day. Look for beauty and meaning in small things you do every day and in quiet times. To remember that life is short and to worry about it is to miss it, Seneca tells us to look at the sunrise or sunset with awe. Every new day gives us a chance to start over and find meaning in the simple fact that we are alive. Do good things for other people. As Marcus Aurelius said, the best revenge is to be different from the person who wronged you. Making the lives of others better is a powerful way to give our own lives meaning and purpose. Learn to be thankful for the little things in life, like a shared meal, laughter with friends, or a warm hug from a loved one. We find the real point of our lives in these small but meaningful acts of thanks and appreciation. The simple, real moments that make up our days show us what life is all about. Epictetus taught us that what bothers us is not what is outside us, but how we see it. In this way, following our talents and interests can lead to finding meaning in our lives, being creative, and growing as people. They not only make us happy, but they also connect us to something bigger. Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity, said Seneca. This shows how important it is to develop our skills if we want to find meaning in our daily lives. A meaningful life starts with thinking about our core values and making sure that our actions are in line with them. Some people say, it doesn't take much to make a happy life. It's all in you, in the way you think. To find meaning in our daily lives, we need to understand that every moment, no matter how unimportant it seems, has a purpose and a lesson to teach us. Secret number 11. Be open to change. To find inner peace, the 11th spiritual secret that shows us the way is to learn to accept change. The Stoics, who knew that everything changes, tell us to stop fighting the flow of the universe. According to Epictetus, do not expect events to happen as you wish. Wish for events to happen as they happen, and you will have peace. Accepting that life is always changing helps us find peace. See change as a chance to improve yourself and the world around you. Sometimes the hardest things that happen to us teach us the most important lessons about ourselves and the world. We become resilient when we accept change instead of fighting it. Developing mental flexibility helps us deal with changes in our lives without losing our peace of mind. To keep growing and changing, we must stay open to the lessons that each change can bring. As Marcus Aurelius said, we don't have to become someone different, we just have to stop being something we don't want to be. Refusing something is easier when we let go of our rigid expectations and need to control everything. Life is always changing, and we can get closer to true inner peace if we let ourselves flow with it instead of fighting it. There is beauty in the fact that things change over time. The seasons change, relationships change, and every day brings new chances to learn and grow. When you go with the flow of life instead of fighting it, you can find true inner peace. It was wise of Marcus Aurelius to say, "Look often at the swiftness of all things past and future, how all things flow and become one." That fluidity is where we find the essence of life and the peace we seek. Secret number 12. Be kind to yourself. Caring for ourselves with kindness is the 12th spiritual secret that shows us the way to inner peace. Self-compassion is not a form of self-indulgence. It is a deep act of love for oneself when things are hard. Christine Neff said, "Self-compassion means treating our mistakes and flaws with kindness instead of harshness and forgiving ourselves for our flaws. And making mistakes is a sign that we are human, with failures and lessons woven into our very being. Realizing that we are all human frees us from putting too much pressure on ourselves. Being our own best friend instead of our harshest critic is possible if we practice having a kind conversation with ourselves. What Rumi meant by "you are your own light" is that you have the power to deal with problems with kindness instead of criticism. Life is full of problems, and when we deal with them with self-compassion, we can learn and grow instead of giving up and letting others judge us. Another important part of self-compassion is being able to connect with our feelings without judging them. We can fully embrace our humanity when we accept our feelings, even the ones that make us feel bad. What is most personal is most universal, Carl Rogers said, which reminds us that a lot of other people have had the same feelings we do. According to the Buddha, You yourself, like everyone else, deserve your love and affection. The practice of self-compassion not only makes us feel better emotionally, but it also makes us better able to be compassionate toward others. Secret number 13. Being thankful when things go wrong. On our way to finding inner peace, the third secret tells us to be thankful. We face problems and tough times in life, even when things are going well. But in those trials, we also find lessons and chances to grow. When bad things happen, being grateful is like lighting a torch that guides us and connects us to our inner strength. We can move forward with wisdom and maturity when we are thankful for the lessons we have learned. We can learn more about ourselves, our strengths and weaknesses, through each challenge. Another important part of being grateful when things are bad is finding the light in the dark. There are moments of kindness, compassion, and love that shine through even the worst times, and they deserve our thanks. Being thankful for the strength of the human spirit helps us connect with our natural ability to get through tough times and get back on our feet. Being thankful for the help others have given us during hard times reminds us how important human connections are and gives us comfort when we need it. In the end, being thankful when things go wrong helps us find light and hope, even when things look the darkest. Viktor Frankl said, "In life, it is not what happens to us that is important, but what we do with what happens to us." Being grateful in hard times teaches us that even though pain can be overwhelming, how we see it can change it and help us find meaning even in the midst of the toughest problems. Secret number 14. Self-love has the power to change everything. In order to find inner peace, the 14th spiritual secret tells us to look into how self-love can change our lives. Being in love with yourself is more than just a feeling. It's a practice that you have to do on purpose. If you can't love yourself, how can you love anyone else? Asked R. Paul. To learn to love ourselves, we have to learn how to talk to ourselves in a kind and caring way. The way we talk to ourselves inside our heads has a big effect on our mental and emotional health. Setting healthy limits and changing negative thoughts into positive affirmations are important parts of loving yourself. Self-love means putting our own needs first and learning to say no when we need to. Audre Lorde once said, "Taking care of oneself is not an act of self-indulgence, but of preservation." Spend regular time doing things that make you feel good, like reading, listening to music, working out, or meditating. It's important to spend time doing things that make you feel good and connect you with your deepest self. Accept your flaws and be proud of being human. Self-love doesn't depend on being perfect. It depends on accepting who you are. Taking care of yourself is another important part of loving yourself. Taking care of our mind, body, and spirit shows that we love ourselves. We can show love and support for others in a fuller and more genuine way when we do this. Self-love is not being selfish. It's investing in our own health and happiness so that we can be more honest, open, and kind to ourselves and others. Like Brené Brown said, connection is the result of being authentic and vulnerable, not of being perfect. In the end, loving ourselves gives us the power to live a fuller, more loving life. The beauty of keeping things simple is secret number 15. In order to find inner peace, the 15th spiritual secret tells us to appreciate the beauty of things that are easy. In a world that pushes us toward chaos and complexity, finding beauty in the simple is like a balm for the soul. It helps us get rid of the unnecessary and connect with the core of life. Being mindful in the present moment is very important in this quest. Peace said, "It is the flower of mindfulness to stop and notice the beauty in the world around us." This helps us see the beauty in the everyday. Making our promises easier to keep is also important. Having too much on our plates keeps us from finding inner peace a lot of the time. We can get rid of stress and anxiety by learning to say no and putting what's important first. Finding happiness in small things, like the smell of coffee in the morning or the warmth of the sun, helps us remember that life is full of easy things that can make us happy. Leonardo da Vinci said, "Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication." If we can learn to appreciate the little things in life and let go of the need for perfection, we can find peace in accepting what is. Another important part of the beauty of simplicity is being thankful for what we have right now. We can find fulfillment and satisfaction by being thankful for the good things in our lives instead of always wanting more. Ultimately, the beauty of simplicity tells us to find happiness and peace in what we already have, instead of always looking for it elsewhere. 16. The 16th secret is renewal through time in nature. The 16th spiritual secret helps us find inner peace by linking us to the way nature renews itself over time. Seeing how nature changes with the seasons teaches us about the flow of life and encourages us to live our own lives in a similar way. Spending time in nature, like going for a walk in the forest, feeling the sand under our feet, or just relaxing in the park in the sun, becomes an important way to heal and grow on the inside. Nature is a holy place where our spirits can be refreshed. By watching how nature changes and embracing stillness, we can get our energy back and clear our minds. Seeing the beauty in the different kinds of life in nature helps us value how unique we are and how unique others are too. Respecting our own inner rhythm and going with the natural cycle of rest and activity teaches us a lot about being flexible, staying calm, and the significance of staying on our own path. The 17th secret is to find harmony with other people. The 17th spiritual secret helps us find inner peace by bringing us together with other people. Having deep connections and relationships with other people can help you find true inner peace. Making real connections with other people keeps us healthy and makes us feel like we belong. Developing empathy is a very important first step in this direction. Trying to understand how other people feel and see things makes relationships stronger and leads to deeper connections. It's also important to practice active listening. Listening to someone without jumping in or passing judgment helps people understand and respect each other. Forgiving each other is a very important part of keeping our relationships happy. When you learn to forgive, you let go of your emotional baggage and make room for peace and reconciliation. But it's also important to set healthy limits. Although it's good to connect with other people, it's also important to set clear limits for our own emotional health. Another important part is building real relationships. Being real is the key to making real connections. We can have more peaceful relationships if we show our true selves and value others' authenticity. Celebrating diversity in relationships also makes them more interesting and teaches us important lessons about how to be united despite differences. Harmony in our relationships with others not only makes us feel better inside, but it also makes life more meaningful. As Mother Teresa said, "If you want to change the world, go home and love your family." These words help us remember that real change starts with the people we love most and spreads to everyone else. Secret number 18. Forgiveness leads to change. The 18th spiritual secret asks us to look into the changes that happen when we forgive others as we try to find inner peace. Forgiving someone doesn't just absolve them of their wrongdoing, it also frees us from the weight of our anger and resentment. It's an act of self-love that helps wounds heal and lets peace into the heart. It is important to know that forgiving someone does not mean excusing their actions, but it does mean freeing your heart from anger. Forgiveness frees the soul, Nelson Mandela said in a wise way. It lets everyone know that you will not let them hurt you anymore. But it's important to accept and heal our own wounds before we can forgive others. In this process, being honest leads to a deeper understanding and real inner change. Another important part of forgiving is learning to understand how others feel. By trying to understand the feelings and actions of people who have hurt us, we can learn to care about them. Even though empathy doesn't make things okay, it can help people understand and forgive others better. In the end, forgiving someone frees us from the past and lets us enter a future full of peace and happiness. This makes it easier to forgive. Forgiving someone can be an internal process that doesn't require re-establishing a physical or emotional link. This is because some relationships aren't healthy or safe. Seeing this for what it is important for our emotional health and lets us move forward on our path to inner peace with honesty and understanding. Before we get into the last spiritual secret, I'd like to invite you to something special. If you know someone who could benefit from the lessons we've talked about together, please share this video with them. In these spiritual secrets, we've found wisdom that we hope will help you find deep and lasting inner peace. By sharing this video, you are not only giving someone information, but you are also showing them love and care. We all need kind words and gentle reminders from time to time to find peace within ourselves. This spiritual journey is both unique and open to everyone, sharing experiences and insights that help us grow and thrive as people strengthens the bonds we have with the people we love. Sending this video to that special someone in your life is something I really want you to do. I hope that these words and spiritual secrets will help them find peace of mind. Sharing your wisdom is a gift that can feed your heart and make you feel better. We can walk together toward a fuller, more meaningful life and the peace of mind we all want. 19th secret: fully accept the moment. This spiritual secret shines a light on the path to inner peace, to a place of peace in the midst of the chaos of the world. Accept the present as it is. In the flow of life, the present is all there is. To find peace, you must fully accept each moment. Too often, we let our minds wander between worrying about the future and remembering good times in the past. This creates a storm of stress and anxiety that makes the present seem less bright. But the way to calm down from this inner turmoil is to practice mindful acceptance. It means focusing on the here and now, noticing our feelings and thoughts without judging them, and letting go of the need to change things. Fully accepting our current situation does not mean we are giving up hope. Rather, it means we are open to all the possibilities that the present brings. It means giving up the false idea that we can control every part of our lives and letting life flow through us with its own natural wisdom. The simple things in life, the little things we miss in our search for grandeur, are what make it beautiful. Finding happiness in the little things that happen every day, brings us closer to the core of our being. Giving up on the past is not the same as accepting the present. It takes courage to do so. Giving up and finding peace in the midst of chaos and uncertainty is what it means to surrender to reality in all its beauty and complexity. Let's keep going on our journey and fully accept the present moment as the key to lasting peace within ourselves. Right now, life's magic is happening, and to find peace, you have to jump right into it with open hearts and calm minds. It's possible to lose who we are when we try too hard to please someone. For example, we might dress or talk in a way that makes them like us less. Here's where our Stoic wisdom comes in. Your worth doesn't come from what you wear or where you go, but from how you act, what you do, and the choices you make. If you're in a cafe and see two people on a date, what would you do? One is trying to show off and impress, while the other is happy with how they look. Which do you think will stick with you the longest? It's true that that's the power of carrying yourself with honor. Being honest and having self-respect are important to Stoics. What this means for us today is easy to understand. If you're passionate about something, make it your own and let it shine. You don't have to act like someone else. You just have to feel good in your own skin and know that you're good enough the way you are. Also, remember to respect yourself. The way you treat yourself determines how other people will treat you. The world should know that it's okay to be treated the same way. But if you value yourself, your time, your energy, and your feelings, you will send a loud and clear message. I deserve respect and expect it to be shown to me. In relationships, it's not just about what you say or how you see yourself. It's also about how you act and react to different things. Are you acting out of desperation or with respect? If you want to fit in, do you give up your values? Or do you stand your ground even if it means being by yourself? It doesn't mean you have to be perfect. Everyone makes mistakes and has awkward moments. What matters is how you handle those times. Let's think about how we can start acting more formally in the people we meet every day, setting clear, healthy boundaries in our relationships and communicating firmly, but with respect, about what we are willing to accept and what we are not, might be one way. This keeps our emotional safety and sets a standard of respect for each other. Learn to say no to things that don't fit with our values and priorities. This is another way to treat ourselves with respect. This could mean turning down commitments or situations that make us feel bad or go against our values. Because of this, we show that we are true to ourselves and affirm our right to live by our beliefs. Maybe it's also about being kinder and more respectful to others in our daily lives, seeing the humanity in everyone we meet and understanding how they feel and what they're going through. We can build relationships that are more real and meaningful this way. When we start to see and value our own dignity, we give off an aura that other people can pick up on. This affects how other people see and treat us, starting a positive cycle of respect and appreciation for each person's dignity. Know how much you're worth. Oh, you might be thinking, oh, it's just another talk about self-love. But stay with me, because I'm not going to talk about telling yourself over and over again how great you are. How does being stoic help you know what you're worth in relationships? In fact, quite a bit. Focusing on what you can control is what the Stoics teach us. It's important to remember that you have full control over your self-esteem. It doesn't matter how many Instagram likes you get or who friend requests you on any other social network. What matters is how you see and value yourself. Consider this. Picture yourself as a valuable stone. Is it true that not everyone knows how much a rare gem is worth? A lot of people might walk right by it without knowing what it is, but that doesn't change how valuable, rare, and unique it is. That's your true reflection. That's real, unique, and valuable you. It doesn't make you less valuable if someone doesn't see it. Let's be honest, everyone here has been turned down before. We've all felt like we weren't good enough at some point. This is especially true in today's world, where everyone seems to be living their best life. However, Stoicism can help you remember that your worth is not based on what other people think of you, but on how you live your life, your virtues, and the things you do. Are you nice? Are you telling the truth? Are you happy with the way you live? That's where your real worth lies. It was easy for the Stoics to think about themselves. So stop for a moment and think about your qualities, not just the obvious ones, but also the ones that are more important to you. What's good for you? No matter how caring, strong, or good at listening you are valuable because of these things. And here's the secret. When you know this deeply and honestly, it will change how you treat other people. You won't put up with fools because you respect yourself too much, not because you're cocky. And here's a Stoic exercise for you. The next time someone makes fun of you, don't give up and start doubting yourself. Instead, ask yourself what your strengths and values are. Being cocky isn't the point. The point is to quietly know that you are worthy, without needing approval from other people. Alexander the Great, one of the great Stoic emperors, said that you only have control over your thoughts and not over what happens in the outside world. If you understand this, you will be strong. Figuring out our own worth is very important when we're talking about relationships. It's important to know that our value doesn't come from how other people see us. It comes from how we see ourselves. Every day, it's a reminder and a practice to work on our self-esteem and confidence. When we wake up, we have the chance to affirm our worth, no matter what other people think or say. We need to remind ourselves that we are valuable and deserving of love and respect, not because someone else says so, but because we truly believe it. By getting to know and accept ourselves, we see that our worth doesn't come from what other people think, but from who we are and what we're truly like. Every step we take on this path of self-discovery helps us understand how much we're really worth. Personal growth is a slow and steady process through which we learn to see and value our strengths, virtues, and unique qualities. As we go deeper into this inner journey, we learn that our worth is not based on what other people think of us. When we realize that our worth is something we can build and strengthen over time, we feel free to take charge of our lives and relationships. We no longer need to look for approval from other people, and we can live with unbreakable self-esteem and confidence. Ultimately, it's about being strong in our own worth, even if other people don't see it, and remembering that we deserve love and respect just for being ourselves. Don't tell me what to do, show me. This idea also works great when we talk about setting limits. It's one thing to tell someone what your limits are. It's quite another to follow through and show them. Think about it this way. Anyone can say they won't stand for being mistreated, but when you do it, that's when you face the truth. When it comes to your boundaries, do you stick to them or let people cross them? The real power you have is not in what you say, but in what you do. Let's remember what our Stoic friends taught us. We have control over everything, even how we react to things. This may not be easy, especially when we're feeling emotional. Your actions, not what you say, show them what the line is when someone crosses it. It says a lot about you how you act if someone lies to you after you've made it clear that you value honesty. You're not making a scene by walking away or talking about the problem in a direct and calm way. This shows that you respect yourself and want to be respected in a way that fits with your values. This way of doing things can really change the way relationships work. People start to understand what you will and will not accept when they see that you have limits, that you will not let people cross, and rules and values that you are determined to uphold. It's about getting to know yourself. Having self-respect is important, and you should stick to it. That's when you really learn to be tough. It's not just the big things that bother you. It's also the little things that happen every day. What you do when someone cancels plans at the last minute, or when someone doesn't care about you anymore. With calm words and actions, you let them know that this is not okay. Being present in the present moment is not the only thing that mindfulness is. Immersing ourselves fully in the present moment means paying close attention to every thought, feeling, and action that comes up within us. As we grow in self-awareness, we are asked to question and think about how our actions show our personal limits and core values. Being fully present in the present moment gives us a chance to check if our actions are in line with our limits and true selves. We are always judging ourselves and asking if our actions are in line with our deepest beliefs and values, or if they are different from who we really are because of outside influences or societal expectations. When we do this, we look at every interaction and situation very carefully, trying to figure out how we are reacting and if we are being honest with ourselves. We are asked to be aware of our own limits, to know when we feel unsafe or harmed, and to take action to safeguard our honesty and emotional health. In the little things that happen every day, our limits are really tested. It's in these situations that don't seem important that our true nature and character are shown. Because of this, mindfulness encourages us to be in the present moment, to be aware of how we are responding to different situations, and to become more clear and wise in the choices and actions we make. When we go about our daily lives and interact with other people, we can set and show our personal boundaries in a more stoic way. It's not enough to have strict rules or be rigid in how we interact with others. We need to develop an inner compass that guides how we act and respond to different situations. This inner compass, which comes from Stoic ideas, tells us to always know our own limits and values and act in line with them. Building walls around ourselves or cutting ourselves off from the outside world is not the point. The point is to set healthy boundaries that show who we are and what we value in life. People around us will notice when we start living this way. People start to see us as individuals who not only set clear limits, but also respect themselves enough to make others respect them. It's like we give off an air of principled commitment to make other people feel at ease. We can build more honest and respectful relationships with others when we have this attitude. It also helps us feel better about ourselves and have more confidence in ourselves. By staying true to our values and boundaries, we shine a light of honesty and integrity in a world that is often filled with doubt and confusion. I know this might sound a little old-fashioned or even harsh, but please hear me out. You don't have to be hard to get. You just have to respect yourself and know what you're worth. What does the Stoic view say about this? Stoicism shows us how to control and discipline ourselves, but not in a rigid way. If you want to be happy right away, you need to know what's really important and not give it away carelessly. It's nice to breathe this in. Think about how we feel about them, or when we're going out with someone. We often feel rushed to share our time, space, and deepest thoughts. The Stoics, on the other hand, say to take a step back because things that are easy to get lose their value over time. It's how people are. It's not mysterious, deep, or exciting if you're always available in the blink of an eye and say yes to everything. Allowing less access should be done in a polite and calm way. To begin, it's about how you act. Dress in a classy but modest way. Not only is it about style, it's a statement that says, I value myself. You're not hiding, but you're also not giving away too much. There's a balance, and I feel like I'm more than what I appear to be. Time and attention come next. Being picky about who gets your time is very useful in a world where we're always connected. Saying, my time is valuable and I choose to spend it wisely, is more important than playing games. When you're with someone, give them your full attention. When you're not available, though, feel good about it, because it means you're focused on your own life, your interests, and your growth. Stoicism also teaches us how to control our feelings. This doesn't mean you become cold or distant. At no point does that mean you don't let anything really hurt you. You stay calm inside, and you don't let anyone else use your emotional energy. They also have to work for it. Keep in mind that I'm not telling you to turn into a statue of calm. Connecting with other people is what makes life rich. However, the beauty of going slowly and making a connection that isn't just based on instant access and pleasure is that it helps you build something that is deep and lasts. Remember that limiting access is not about making other people feel bad or using their emotions to get what we want. On the contrary, it is an act of great self-respect that fits with our core beliefs. People who limit access show that they value themselves and believe that others should value them equally by doing things that aren't just words. Over time, we need to be a little more selective in the people we talk to, more careful in the choices we make, and more measured in the way we say things. It's about finding the right balance between being honest and keeping some things to yourself in order to protect your emotional health and self-esteem. In our modern world of meetings and relationships, we are following the Stoics' lead by taking this approach. In this promise, we promise to live by our deepest values and set clear limits that show our respect and self-worth. And trust me, this way of thinking changes everything about how other people see and treat us. We are sending a clear message to the world around us when we value ourselves and act with the firmness and consistency of the Stoics. We are saying that we deserve to be treated with respect and care, and we are not willing to give up our integrity for fear of being alone or not being accepted. Pay attention to what you do, not what you say. Stoicism is about practical wisdom, which means judging people by their deeds rather than just their words, as we've seen. There are a lot of nice words and empty promises in the world, especially when it comes to relationships. The Stoics, on the other hand, teach us to look beyond that and watch actions because they show us the truth. Take a look. It's simple to say what you believe in or what other people want to hear. It's also simple to make promises and picture a future that seems ideal. But do you show others how to do things? Do what you do, match what you say? That's where the story really is. We've all been there, let's be honest. When we meet someone new, they start telling us all these wonderful and interesting things, and we get caught up in them. But then, over time, what they do doesn't match up. They say they'll call but don't, and they change their minds at the last minute. Still, their words hold us tight. Our tough inner self needs to step in at this point. Stoicism instructs us not to let our emotions or words get the best of us. It has to do with being sensible and seeing things as they really are. People should be avoided if their actions don't match what they say. That's how the universe tells us, hey, pay attention, something is wrong here. The way our relationships work has really changed since we've changed our focus. As we stop getting caught up in romantic words and promises, we begin to notice the smaller things. What do they do when they're stressed? Do they do what they say they will do? They are there for us in a real and honest way, not just in words. This is where the really interesting part of the process lies. I'm not just listening to what you say, I'm watching what you do, is a clear and strong message that we send when we focus on actions. People around us know that they can't just say nice things to get our attention. They have to show us how valuable they are and what they really want by doing real, consistent things. This change in perspective gives us the power to see things more clearly and wisely in our relationships. It shows us the difference between what people say and what they do, and it helps us form deeper, more genuine bonds based on trust and respect. Finally, it helps us build healthier and happier relationships, where being consistent in what we say and do is very important. It's important to remember that it's not about being suspicious or cynical about everyone around us. Instead, it's about using the right amount of discernment and caution to protect our hearts and inner peace with a tough layer of wisdom. People with this kind of wisdom tell us not to let our feelings control our actions, but to stick to our core beliefs and values. The goal is to find a good balance between your heart and mind, your passion, and your sense of reason. In this way, it's important to remember to watch what people do and listen to what they say. Having a stoic attitude in love means being logical, aware, and wise in our relationships and interactions with others. It means realizing that actions, not words, are what really show how people feel and what they want to do. We can make better decisions in our relationships if we commit to this way of life. These decisions will be based on a deep understanding of reality and an honest appreciation of ourselves and others. Get ready to leave. There is a beautiful idea in Stoicism called detachment. This doesn't mean being cold or insensitive, but rather knowing what we can and cannot control. And the choice to stay or leave a bad situation is one of the most powerful things we have control over. Relationships are also talked about here. Some things inside us tell us that what we're going through is not what we deserve, but we stay. We hold on to the hope that things will get better or change because we're afraid of being alone or seeing things change. However, this is where history changes. The real power is in realizing that we have the power to choose differently, and that staying in a situation that goes against our values is under our control. And this doesn't mean you should give up everything at the first sign of trouble. Having a relationship takes work, dedication, and time. It's most important to be so sure of your values that you're ready to leave when something goes against them. I value myself enough not to accept less than I deserve means having the inner strength and quiet courage to say it. Let's talk about this some more. Being ready to walk away is a way to affirm yourself. It means being able to see clearly and having the inner strength to know when a relationship or situation goes against your values and sense of worth. But I want to stress that this process doesn't have to be rough or full of drama. Most of the time, it's a quiet realization that you deserve better that leads to this choice. Sometimes getting out of your comfort zone is scary. Sometimes things get hard, though. That's when we can remember what the Stoics taught us: to face problems with courage and accept that things are always changing. Being brave enough to let go of things that don't serve you is like making room in your life for new experiences and opportunities. It's like making room for growth and renewal in yourself. You should know that you're not holding on to a situation because you have to or because you're afraid of what might happen. By making this choice, you are choosing to care about your own emotional health and happiness. You are taking a step toward a better and more satisfying future when you have the courage to let go of things that no longer feed you. You are saying yes to yourself and the things that could happen that you don't know yet. As we think about what it means to be ready to walk away, let's remember that this brave and honest action lets us be open to new experiences and opportunities in life. It helps us remember that we have the power to make our lives what we want them to be today. While we drink our coffee and think about these things, let's remember that being ready to walk away doesn't mean you're cold or distant toward other people. Instead, it's about showing love and respect for ourselves, which helps us understand and stand up for our own needs and limits. I deserve better is not a judgment on other people. It's a statement of our own worth and worthiness. It means realizing that we deserve relationships that treat us with respect and help us grow as people and as people. When we have the courage to leave something that doesn't serve us, we honor our deepest needs and boost our self-esteem. By practicing being ready to leave, we also improve our ability to figure out what we really value in a relationship. It helps us see patterns that are bad for us and help us make choices that are good for our long-term health and happiness. So let's remember that being ready to leave is a sign of self-love and a promise to live a full and honest life. It reminds us all the time that we deserve to be treated with respect and care in every interaction, and we are ready to fight for this right with all our might. The ability to say no. Stoicism stresses how important it is to be honest and have the guts to stand up for what you believe in. This has a direct effect on our ability to turn down a relationship. It's about being sure of what you stand for and not being afraid to stick to your beliefs, even if they make other people uncomfortable. Let's say you're dating someone and they tell you something that doesn't seem right. It could be going too fast or putting your values at risk in some way. Moving on would be the easy thing to do. The tough part of you needs to step in and say no, though. The most important thing right now is to respect yourself, your values, and your limits. As it turns out, This is not at all easy. In fact, it can be very hard. What if this drives them apart is always in the back of your mind, especially if you like the person. But this is where we need to be brave. Stoicism teaches us about having the courage to face both internal and external difficulties. There's more to saying no than just self-respect. It shows that you care about yourself enough to not settle for less than you deserve. You might lose them, but here's the key. It's possible that the person wasn't right for you if saying no to something that goes against your values makes them feel bad. This way of doing things can really change how a relationship works. People change their minds when they see that you're not afraid to say no and that you're not only there to please them at the cost of your own values. It shows that you value and respect them. Here's one more harsh turn of events. Rejecting something that goes against our values isn't just about being honest with other people. It's also about being honest with yourself. Figuring out what you want and not really wanting to be in a relationship is what it's about. Remember that being afraid of being alone shouldn't make you do things that are bad for you. In fact, saying no is a sign of authenticity and self-affirmation. By setting healthy limits, it helps us stay true to our core values. The Stoics taught us how important it is to be firm in our beliefs and act in a way that is consistent with our values. This is an example of living with integrity. We are not giving in to outside expectations or other people's demands. Instead, we are honoring our true needs and wants. We are standing up for ourselves and setting an example for relationships based on respect and understanding for each other. Saying no is an important part of taking care of yourself and being honest. It doesn't mean you're selfish or don't care about other people. We can build healthier, more meaningful relationships where everyone is valued and respected for who they really are by setting clear boundaries and being honest about what we need. Keep in mind that saying no is okay. It's a sign of self-love and an important step toward making relationships that are real and satisfying. Accepting that we can say no when we need to puts us in a position of personal power and lets us live our lives with honesty and integrity in every interaction. Being stoic and having a healthy doubt go hand in hand. Stoics try to see things as they really are, not how people think they should be. You might wonder if this has anything to do with love and dating. We've all heard someone say the words we want to hear, as if they were the right ones. We want to believe them, even though there are red flags all around us. This is where our tough inner self comes in handy. A healthy amount of doubt is like having superpowers. When you keep your feet on the ground and don't take everything at face value, you're not being negative or cynical. You're just observing, asking questions, and not jumping in without thinking about it first. Let's look at what it means. Think about this. You meet someone and like them a lot. You are making plans for the future together and saying all these nice things to each other. You met not long ago though, so your calm side would tell you to take it slow, don't rush, and let's see if your actions match your words and how things go. Being skeptical doesn't mean asking a lot of questions or questioning everything the other person does. It means being aware, hearing what they say, and watching what they do. It means taking the time to get to know someone well and check to see if they make sense and are honest. The Stoics thought it was important to use logic and reason in relationships instead of letting your feelings take over. This is very important. It's true that it can be hard to find the right balance between our emotions and our sense of reason in relationships. But if we train our logic to be a little skeptical, we can let it look at things more objectively and clearly. By keeping a healthy dose of skepticism, we don't let our feelings determine our decisions. Instead, we base our choices on facts and our true needs. We can tell the difference between things that are good for us and things that could be harmful to our emotional health. When we are skeptical, we can also protect our hearts from being hurt emotionally or badly disappointed. We give ourselves the time to better understand the other person, their intentions, and how well they fit with our own needs and values when we don't rush into situations before we've fully thought them through. Building walls or barriers around our hearts isn't the only thing that needs to be done. We also need to open doors and be wise. We can stay alert and aware of our feelings by being skeptical. This lets us explore new connections with a clear mind and a safe heart. Stoicism as a way of life encourages us to connect with the essence of life, go with the flow of the universe's natural rhythms, and accept reality with peace. When these teachings are put in the context of love, they become deeply and permanently relevant. By taking a Stoic view, we acknowledge that we and our loved ones are flawed beings who are affected by life's ups and downs and have limitations. Instead of looking for perfection in others or ourselves, we accept flaws as a normal part of being human, putting authenticity over looks and finding beauty in being open and honest. We can help each other grow and connect authentically when we accept our flaws with kindness and understanding. The practice of accepting and understanding others gives us the chance to build strong, meaningful relationships based on real connection and support for each other. We learn to accept and flow with the situations that come our way instead of fighting reality or trying to change other people to fit our needs. In the present moment, we find a deep sense of peace and satisfaction. When we practice acceptance, we see and accept our own flaws as well as those of others. We accept that we are human and have limitations, and it's normal to make mistakes and have problems in our relationships. We choose not to judge ourselves or others. Instead, we let ourselves be kind and understanding, knowing that we are all doing the best we can with the tools and resources we have at any given time. Understanding allows us to put ourselves in other people's shoes and understand their problems and experiences. We need to remember that everyone has a unique story, a set of wounds, and a reason for doing what they do. We should try to see things from their point of view with compassion and empathy. By doing this, we strengthen the bonds of trust and connection in our relationships, creating a space where everyone can help each other and understand each other completely. In the end, practicing acceptance and understanding helps us build more real and meaningful relationships, where love and connection grow naturally in a space where everyone feels accepted and respected. We can find deep satisfaction and fulfillment in our relationships if we learn to go with the flow and accept reality as it is. This lets love grow in all its glory as we honor and celebrate our shared humanity, enjoy the richness of our relationships, and know that we are deeply connected to everything. We are encouraged to develop a loving kindness that goes beyond the ego and accepts the differences and uniqueness of each person through this approach. Realizing that we are all on the same journey through life makes us allies and fellow travelers for those who cross our paths. We promise to be there for each other through life's ups and downs, in times of happiness and celebration, as well as times of challenge and difficulty, with compassion and calm. This type of love has no limits or boundaries because it goes beyond the things that make us different and separate us. It brings us together in our shared experience of being human, seeing our unity in our differences, and giving us a deep sense of connection and belonging when we interact with others. By accepting this kind of loving kindness, we can build relationships that are deeply meaningful and enriching, giving us support, comfort, and joy as we go through life. We don't focus on ourselves. Instead, we offer our loving and understanding presence to others as a source of hope and comfort in a world that is often rough and confusing. To sum up, Stoicism tells us to accept things as they are and find beauty and meaning in everything, even romantic relationships. By practicing acceptance, understanding, and compassion, we can build real, deeply satisfying relationships based on genuine connection and unwavering support for each other. We've been talking a lot about how to be stoic, and this fits in perfectly with what we've been talking about: never chase. A big part of Stoicism is the idea that we should focus on what we can control and let go of what we can't. When it comes to relationships, this philosophy is very helpful. It's about realizing that chasing someone away is not only pointless, but also not in line with respecting ourselves and our worth. Let's say you're dating someone and things are going well at first, but then you start to drift apart. We've all been through similar things and wanted to try to bridge that gap. However, our Stoic teachings come into play. The Stoics would say, wait for you, chasing what you cannot control, what happens to your dignity, your self-respect, and your peace of mind. Chasing someone who walks away is pointless and leaves you feeling empty. But here's the important thing: when you let go of things that don't belong to you, you make room for better things. It's like getting rid of clutter to make room for new things. It can be hard to let go of things that don't nourish you, but it's an act of genuine self-love. The Stoic way is to be sure of what you believe in. It's not rude or insensitive to let someone go if they're leaving. You can only control how they react. Let's be honest, this isn't easy. It takes a lot of strength to resist the urge to chase and give in. But trust that if someone wants to be with you, they will happen. Stop chasing after other people and focus on your own life, and you'll see amazing things happen. People will be drawn to your strength and confidence. I'm worth it, is what you seem to be saying. It's about finding peace within ourselves, not getting approval from others. So let's be resolute in our approach to relationships, respect ourselves, and concentrate on what we can control. You have the power to decide how to react to the things going on around you. Remember that you build your own worth and protect your self-esteem. Embrace that power and let your actions, choices, and limits show what a great person you are. If you want to follow the advice of Stoicism and show your value through actions instead of words, these are some ways you can do that. Always remember that being brave isn't something you say, it's something you do. Unconditional love. In Stoic philosophy, unconditional love is a central idea that goes beyond just loving others without expecting anything in return. It means recognizing and appreciating the worth of every person, no matter what they do, how well they do, or what their situation is. We make a commitment to accept and value ourselves exactly as we are, with all of our virtues and flaws, by practicing unconditional love for ourselves. This means developing a compassionate and accepting relationship with ourselves and letting go of negative judgment and self-criticism. Not only does unconditional love mean understanding and caring about other people's problems and experiences, but it also means accepting them as they are, without trying to change them or judging them for what they do or decide. Being there for someone when they need help is more than just being there to listen or cry on. It means building a real and deep connection with the people around us, which means being willing to listen, understand their worries and fears, and offer the support they need, even if it means leaving our comfort zone. By showing others this kind of unconditional support, we are not only showing that we care about them, but we are also making our own relationships stronger. We build strong relationships based on trust and respect when we promise to be there for others when they need us. It's important to remember that unconditional support doesn't just mean being there for someone in a crisis. It also means being there to share their joy and celebrate their successes and triumphs. As a tool of unity and friendship, it makes our connections with those around us even stronger. To practice unconditional love, we must learn to forgive those who have hurt or let us down and let go of our anger or bitterness. This means seeing our own and other people's humanity and knowing that everyone makes mistakes and has problems in life. Forgiving someone doesn't mean defending their actions or ignoring the harm they've done to us. Instead, it means letting go of the emotional weight we carry when we hold on to anger, which lets us move on with compassion and inner peace. Not only do we improve our relationships with others when we practice unconditional love and forgiveness, but we also grow and change as people. By choosing to forgive and love without conditions, we free ourselves from the weight of anger and bitterness. This makes it possible for us to grow as people in big ways. Although people have flaws and imperfections, unconditional love asks us to accept them as they are and see their value as people. It also asks us to show compassion and empathy for them, even if they have hurt or disappointed us, and to stay open to the idea of getting along and understanding each other better. Furthermore, forgiving someone helps us let go of the past and move on with more clarity and peace of mind. When we let go of anger and bitterness, we make room for personal growth and emotional healing. We can close painful chapters in our lives and welcome new experiences, chances for love, and real connections. To sum up, showing love and forgiveness without conditions helps us build stronger, deeper connections with others based on acceptance, respect, and personal growth. As a result, we can have a richer and deeper relationship with ourselves and others, and our lives will be fuller and more satisfying. Don't let the other person take over your whole life. We tend to put others above ourselves, which can make us lose sight of our own goals in today's world. You'll see how much more valuable you are in love if you choose your own path. The only person who can hurt you is you. Do not let other people control you. The strong words in this quote remind us that we are in charge of our own inner peace and emotional health. People's negative thoughts and opinions can be everywhere, so it's important to know that we can choose how they affect us. Owning our thoughts and feelings means being honest with ourselves and not worrying about what other people will think of us. When we understand this historical principle, we take charge of our own lives. Our self-esteem and respect grow, which makes other people value and care about us more. Marcus Aurelius said, "No one can hurt you without your permission." This is a powerful truth to remember when we are facing problems and criticism. It may seem hard to stop talking in a world where talking all the time is normal, but Stoic wisdom says it's good to do. Epicurus and other philosophers told us that it's better to listen than to speak, and let other people start the conversation. We learn more about other people and ourselves when we let them start the conversation. Being ready to talk all the time can make you look anxious and self-centered, which turns people off. Building real high-value relationships requires patience and a willingness to let other people start the conversation. Focusing on how to use historical lessons in everyday life is a powerful way to grow as a person and strengthen relationships that are real and meaningful. Creating a fear of loss, practicing patience, limiting your availability, encouraging independence, and learning to let other people start conversations are all things that can help you live a more balanced and real life. Stoicism as a way of life changes not only how we interact with others, but also how we see ourselves. Adopting and following these principles sets us on an introspective path that helps us find peace in the midst of chaos, make smarter choices, and face challenges with an unbreakable mental toughness. Stoicism is not just about how we relate to our inner world, but also about how we connect with our own essence. By following these rules, we not only learn how to deal with things outside of our control, but we also start to understand and control ourselves. These principles become an internal compass that helps us make decisions. They teach us how to find balance in the midst of chaos, how to stay calm in the face of uncertainty, and how to build the mental toughness we need to get through hard times in a deep and meaningful way. In the end, Stoicism leads to an inner change that not only affects our relationships with other people, but also changes how we understand and see ourselves, letting us live a fuller, more authentic, and more meaningful life. One of the most important parts of Stoicism is living by our values. This can have a huge effect on our relationships. This philosophy reminds us how important it is to always do what we think is right and fair, even when we are in a close relationship. When it comes to romantic relationships, this idea means that we need to make sure that the relationship is in line with our deepest values and beliefs. To do this, we need to think about what these values mean to us and how they show up in our relationship and in our daily lives. To give you an example, if we value trust, then our relationship must be based on honesty and open communication. In the same way, if we value equality and mutual respect, we need to make sure that these values show in how we interact with our partner. When we make choices based on our values, we have to be true to ourselves, even when the relationship is hard or there are outside pressures. Setting healthy boundaries or ending a relationship that doesn't meet our moral standards are two examples of hard choices that we may have to make. When we promise to live our values in a loving relationship, we build the building blocks for a deep and lasting connection. Not only does this commitment make us more honest, but it also helps build a relationship based on trust, respect, and growth for both parties. By making choices and acting in ways that are in line with our values, we can be true to what we value in life and in our relationship with our partner. For instance, if we value loyalty, we will try to be loyal and honest with each other in our relationship. If we value kindness, we will look for selfless ways to help and care for our partner. Because our actions and values are in line with each other, the relationship feels real and sincere. Our trust in each other grows because our partner sees us as honest and dependable people. Also, when we act in a way that is consistent with our values, it encourages our partner to do the same. This helps us both grow and understand each other better. Living by our values also helps us get through the tough times and disagreements that may come up in the relationship. We can use our values to help us make moral and helpful choices when we're in tough situations. This keeps us from giving up on our values or acting without thinking, so we can solve problems in a respectful and helpful way. In the end, living our values in a loving relationship not only makes us happier and healthier, but it also makes our relationship with our partner stronger. By building our relationship on honesty and respect for each other, we can make it strong and last for a long time. Being honest, loyal, compassionate, and respectful to our partner isn't the only way to show virtue in a romantic relationship. It's a promise to be the best versions of ourselves in every part of our life together. The virtue encourages us to learn more about honesty, which is more than just being open and honest in our communication. When we interact with others, we should be honest and show who we really are, including our strengths and weaknesses. By doing this, we create a space where everyone can trust each other and grow and develop freely. In a good relationship, loyalty means more than just being physically and emotionally faithful to our partner. It also means making a long-term promise to support and be there for them no matter what. It means being there for them when things get tough, giving them a shoulder to lean on and a hand to help them get through it. Compassion is a virtue that tells us to understand our partner's point of view, understand their feelings and experiences, and put ourselves in their shoes. It means being ready to comfort and help them when they need it, and to share their happiness as if it were our own. An atmosphere of trust and support is fostered in a relationship based on respect and virtue. This means not only valuing our partner as a person, but also helping them grow personally and professionally by listening to their thoughts and worries, trying to see things from their point of view, and working with them to make decisions that are good for both of us. Let them put money into you. Seeing your value and uniqueness is what this means. It's not enough to just be in someone's life. You need to become an important part of their world. This recognition means that you know that things that are easy to get are often not given enough credit. Real appreciation comes from putting in work and time. People who put time, emotion, and energy into your life form bonds that last longer and are stronger. By going through this process, you go from being a curious bystander to a presence that is truly valued. That's not about desperately wanting other people's love or attention. That's about showing that you are a valuable and enriching part of their lives and deserve real interest. Giving people the chance to invest in you means letting them make your presence an important part of their lives that they wouldn't want to lose. Cicero, a Stoic philosopher, said, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." These words fit with this idea. That's what makes him valuable, not just being, but also being sought after and fought for. The story of Alexander the Great and his teacher Aristotle shows how important good teaching and the bond between a teacher and a student go beyond what most people think. Aristotle, a smart philosopher, was more than just the young prince's teacher. He portrayed himself as a source of knowledge and strategic thinking, both of which were necessary for running an empire. Alexander, who was smart and ambitious, saw how useful Aristotle's lessons were and put in a lot of time and effort to learn from him. Allowing others to invest in you and practicing virtue are two of the most important things that make our relationships stronger. They are based on honesty, mutual respect, and growth together. Real relationships that make you feel deeply satisfied.